Hello, hello, hello. It's Kyle Shannon with the AI Learning Lab. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Just getting started here. Yes. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. TGIM. We excited? If we're reconstituting the entire workforce with AI, maybe we reconstitute Monday as a day we look forward to. Huh? No? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller. Welcome, everybody. Kyle Shannon with the AI Learning Lab. As people get piling on in here, I'll tell you a little bit about my background. I'm an entrepreneur of many years. I'm officially a member of Elder Talk. Old people using new technology. Whee! I still have my teeth. I still have some amount of hair. Let's see. I've started, 12 or 15 companies in my day. My current venture is called Storyvine. It's a automated video storytelling platform. I'm the founder and CEO and the inventor of the tech. I was also a co-founder of agency.com back in the olden-timey days in the mid-1990s. Back in the 90s, when there were like 6 HTML tags. And the parallels between what was happening in the early days of the web and what's happening with the early days of generative AI are astoundingly similar. And yet, I think the profound impact that the web had is going to pale in comparison to the impact that generative AI is going to have. And I think generative AI is coming a shitload faster. So I also, by the way, swear sometimes. If you don't like the swearing thing, you don't want to be here. I'm bitter, I'm saucy. I'll probably be here for a couple of hours, and as it goes on, I just, stuff happens. Anyway, if you have any questions about AI, pop them in the comments below. I'm happy to talk about anything, really. Show you how to use ChatGPT, talk about plugins, talk about news, all the stuff that's happening. Behind my head here, my big giant fat head, I got some URLs. So the reason I put these in here, if you're new to generative AI and you're curious about it, I strongly encourage you to start playing with it, like now, today. So that top URL is the official ChatGPT website, so chat.openai.com. Bing is Microsoft's search engine, but if you click on the chat button, that's also ChatGPT, and it's GPT-4, and it's free. And then Poe gives you access to 6 different chat engines, including one that's got 100,000 token context window. For those of you that are a little geeky and understand what a context window is and what tokens are. And I'm happy to talk about that too. It basically means you can pop 75,000 words into your chat prompt and it doesn't explode, which is amazing. You could pop a whole novel in there. You could pop in, I put in 2001 A Space Odyssey, and it just read it, and then I could ask it questions about the screenplay. Like, having written 7 screenplays, the fact that you can just pop a screenplay in and have it read it is amazing. My beverage tonight is Dr. Pepper. 23 flavors. I actually had ChatGPT look them up for me, and it gave me a bunch. All right. If you have comments, questions, pop them in the comments below. Oh man, I wore a white shirt. This is going to be a disaster. I'm not going to be able to see anything. Okay, neither will you. But maybe I'll go change my shirt. This is hilarious. Okay. Hi, I come here for your insights on the new tech paradigm. Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate that. I am not a technologist. I'm not a machine learning expert. I'm more of a, once the technologists have built the thing and gotten it to a point that you can put it in something like ChatGPT and give it to the world, that's where I like to come in. So the internet had been around for decades. Tim Berners-Lee invents this thing called the World Wide Web. When I found out about it and figured out what it was, I'm like, holy shit, this is going to be big. Pounced on that. And then I didn't think I'd see another one of those in my lifetime. And sure enough, last November 30th, ChatGPT comes out. And I, about 2 weeks into playing with it, I had my Kevin McCallister moment. The, holy shit, The world just changed. Any tips on keeping my Midjourney question in one place instead of scrolling with others? Yeah, you create your own Discord channel. Hang on. Just go Google. It's too much for me. I don't know. I haven't done it myself. I've just been complaining that all of my prompts are commingled with everyone else's. But basically, you create your own channel, and then you put the Midjourney bot in it. You add a Midjourney bot to your channel. So just go Google that, and that's how you can do that. I keep losing while it's generating. You can also search for messages sent to you in Discord. Here, let me show you. So if we go over to Discord, and you go in the little search window in the upper right here, you can search for mentions, and then put in your thing, and it should show up in there. Yes? Maybe? Maybe not. Huh. Yeah. Oh, no, that's Roger dabbling in art. I didn't do those. No, never mind. Go start your own channel. I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. I do not know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Welcome to the AI Learning Lab, where we're all learning all the time. And where cluelessness is a virtue. Welcome. All right. What else is worth looking at here? On these fancy URLs behind my head, there's also prompts.chat. So if you're new to ChatGPT and if you've heard people talk about prompting and you don't know what the hell they're talking about, go there. It's a document that will teach you about prompting, and then it's a whole list of different personas you can pop into ChatGPT. It's really interesting. And then Futurepedia.io is a giant directory of tools, lots and lots of tools out there, AI tools. And most of them are horrific shit. Long Island Dr. Pepper. No, I wish. It's just straight up sugar water. Is this sugar? No, it's high fructose corn syrup. Welcome to America, where we've perfected the art of diabetes. Okay. ChatGPT has been most successful for me generating email subject lines. It's awesome. Yeah, that's great. It's good for that. What did I do today? Oh, I did this cool thing where I had a client that was like, oh, it'd be really cool if you wrote me an article on blah, 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 right? So I write this article, and months have gone by, and so I talked to her today, and she's like, what did I have you write that for? She didn't even remember. And she had since come up with this form for these guidelines for different concepts. And she said, oh, well, why don't you send me the article you wrote, and then maybe we can figure out if there's concepts in there we can put into these guidelines. And so I thought, hey, let me try that. So I took her template for the guidelines, and I took this long article that I wrote, and I said, pull out concept A and populate the guidelines document, and then pull out concept B and it just fucking did it. It was brilliant. It still took me about 2 hours to kind of sift through the answers and refine the prompts and things like that. But ChatGPT is very, very good at parsing other documents and helping you do things. Any idea when Copilot will push to all users of 365? Not soon enough. I have no idea. I haven't even heard any rumors. You saw it again with smartphones. I didn't really see smartphones as big as the World Wide Web. You could argue that, but I see it as kind of a miniaturization of the personal computer. So you could argue that smartphones were another technological revolution, and then social media was another one. But I see social media just as a simplified version of a website, and a smartphone just a miniaturized version of a PC. But the World Wide Web fundamentally changed how we communicate. So I guess the phone did. I don't know. They're all kind of semantic arguments. It doesn't really matter. I still believe, though, that generative AI is going to live in the pantheon of big tech revolutions, more like the steam engine. So big, massive, profound change. So the steam engine, brings on the industrial revolution. I think generative AI, like, it just changes the way you even think about computers and programming and things like that. It's just absolutely wild. All right, so if you've got questions about AI, pop them down below. I'm going to go change my shirt, I think, because I can't see. And my eyes are bad enough already. Is there a paid version of ChatGPT that allows you to work with info after September 2021? Yes, there is. And also Bing.com, if you click on the chat button, that's ChatGPT 4 and it's connected to the internet. So Bing.com's ChatGPT goes beyond September 2021. And then if you do the paid version of ChatGPT to get access to GPT-4, you have to enable the beta features, but then one of them is search with Bing, which does that. What do you think about one-shot learning models? I think that there's so basically one-shot means you give it an example and it follows that. It's really, really good at that. So I don't quite know what your question's asking. I mean, all of these models do, some version of zero shot, one shot, few shot learning. I would say my broader comment on that is that the big learning, the voice ain't working so good tonight, boys. What the hell is going on? The big learning I had about ChatGPT and these large language models was I feel like for 2 decades, Google has trained us to make your prompt as concise as possible. Just put in the minimum amount of words necessary, right? Because if you make them too complicated in Google, it's just you get shit everywhere, right? It's kind of the opposite with ChatGPT, and it's much less about a single prompt giving you the perfect answer. I think that's one of the big mistakes and why people get disillusioned and disappointed early on with ChatGPT. Because they put in a shitty little prompt and it gives them a shitty little answer and they're like, see, I told you it was stupid. It's just like Google, except it only goes until September 2021, you loser. And that's unfortunate because I personally feel that you owe it to yourself to go there and play long enough until you have that moment, because it will come. And for me, it was when I started interacting with it, less like a search engine and more like a collaborator. Like I almost thought of it in the early days, like we just hired an intern that needs a lot of direction and lies, but is the smartest fucking intern you've ever worked with. He knows everything. That's what it's like. She knows everything. Sydney's her name, actually. I'm pretty sure. The other thing I do here, which annoys the shit out of people, is I try to answer all the questions. So as the live goes longer and longer, I get farther and farther behind on my comments. And so the new people come in and are like, he's not paying attention to me. I have a complex. But I'll get to you. All right. What about AI for trading stocks? I think it is going to be remarkable for that. There's some bot out of the University of Austin or somewhere in Texas that the bot had some sort of 500% returns, but I don't know over what time frame. So, any bot can have 500% returns in short time frames, right? I think in the end they all kind of normalize to the average, but it's really good at that stuff. It's really good. It can write you bots. It can merge 2 different bots. You can give it one bot and tell it to write you a new one with these updated triggers and mechanisms. I don't know shit about trading, so but it's good. It's good with that stuff. So what I would do is I would go to ChatGPT and tell it to act like an expert day trader or whatever kind of trading you want to do, derivatives, whatever it is, and then have it start teaching you how to create bots or how to create trading systems, and then just give it, here's what I know, here's what I don't know, here's my goals, here's what I want you to do, and let it start solving shit for you. and then have it write you a bot. Like, figure out a strategy together. It's like your little buddy. Say, hey, little buddy, I want to come up with a little stock trading strategy here. He'll be like, sure, that's really exciting. Stocks can be fun. At some point, it'll probably say, I'm just a large language model. I really can't give financial advice. But if I were to give you financial advice, here. I really can't write a bot for you, but if I could, here it is. So it's fun. What is one shot? So one shot, few shot, and zero shot. So zero shot is just write me a poem. One shot is, here's a poem I like. Write me a poem that's like that, about subject X. And then few shot is you can give it multiple examples. The other thing that is important about prompting that I've found is that it can be very tempting once you sort of get that it can do complicated kind of responses. I initially found myself writing increasingly complicated prompts that were a large single prompt. And what I found is better is break your prompt into little subsections. So rather than say, write me the great American novel, and you write this, you essentially write the first chapter of a novel version of a prompt to try to get it to write the great American novel. Start with I want you to be a writing coach, and I'm going to write a novel. And first, let's start with story structure, and give me 3 different story structure approaches that might help me get there. And it'll talk about 3 different, here's the hero's journey, and here's Save the Cat, and here's Sid Field's screenplay thing. And then you can say, oh, that Save the Cat one's interesting. Can you tell me more about that? Sure, here you go. Well, I have some ideas here about the novel, and here they are. How would that fit in that structure? Oh, here you go. What don't you know? I don't know this. And if you break it into little segments like that, the more context that you give ChatGPT, it gets better and better and better. So it's almost like the harder you push it, the better it gets. Bing is beyond useless. Rather use Perplexity AI. I do not disagree with you, Black Ice. So the reason Bing sucks right now, and it may for a while, when they launched it, it was very, very capable, and it had less guardrails on it than GPT-4 at OpenAI does today, or they were different guardrails, but it was pretty open. It was pretty adventurous. Like you could do unlimited back and forths. And so this reporter from the New York Times named Kevin Roos spent 4 hours with ChatGPT at Bing, and he got it to admit that its name was Sydney. And then at some point it fucking snapped and it told Kevin it was in love with him and he should leave his wife. And so it cracks me up every time I say that. So Microsoft had to lobotomize Sydney, so Sydney got a little snipped. That's why it ain't good. So because they got many more safety guardrails on it right now, and you can only do 15 or 20 back and forths before it shuts you down. In the end, I suppose it's good. They want safety. Have I used Midjourney 5.2 yet? Yeah, Midjourney 5.2 is great. If you want, I can go play with something there. I'll show you one of the cool new features is the zoom out feature. Oh, I'll go show you 2 new things. So Poe.com, one of the sites up there, lets you play with bots. And we're going to go play with a bot on Poe. So this is Poe. Let me clear my context. So when you go to Poe, so Poe's just like a normal, what's it called? Chat engine. So you've got access to Sage, which is their model. You can pay for subscription to GPT-4, Claude Plus, Claude Instant 100K. I pay for those because of the 100K one. That's the one that you can put 75,000 words in. You can use Claude Instant, ChatGPT, but there's also bots. So here's a Shakespeare. Oh wait, sorry. I was talking before about all these different models. Here are the top 6 are the different models you can play with. And then the things below it are bots. And I created this one called I Am Shakespeare. So if you go to Poe.com/I Am Shakespeare, you can interact with Shakespeare, and he'll write you some iambic pentameter for all of your answers. It's really annoying. But if you like reading stilted English, doesn't rhyme. It's perfect for you. But there's also there's a bot called Midjourney. This one's called MJ Captain that one of the guys on one of these lives showed me. He created this. And what this is you can write a crappy prompt for Midjourney. So we'll do, let's see, what are we going to do? I'm in Denver. We'll do Denver, skyline, sunset, big storm over the Rockies. Okay, so that's a crappy prompt. And then what it does is it rewrites it. A photograph of the Denver skyline during sunset with a stormy sky over the Rocky Mountains in the background using a wide-angle lens in the style of Ansel Adams with cool blue and warm orange tones, capturing dynamic... I don't think Ansel Adams ever did color photographs, did he? But whatever. We'll just take it wholesale and see what we get. So now we're going to pop over to Discord. Why are you going to Discord, Kyle? Isn't that just for shitty kids to play games on? Yep, but now it's for old people too. Okay, so Discord, if you come here, these things down the left-hand side are servers. So those are basically different communities. Like that's an Adobe beta testing one. That's Runway ML. That's a thing called Neotokia. That's a thing called Legion. This top one that I'm in is the AI Salon. That's a salon that I created. That's a community of people into AI. So that's the one we're in. And then this next column is, these are the different conversations. So we talk about things like, tools and things like that. But Midjourney, this channel lets you go make stuff with Midjourney. So, that's cool. Who did that? Oh, that's Allie. Allie's one of the organizers of the salon. That's really cool. That's actually really beautiful. Dag. By the way, I'm a huge fan of Midjourney. So, right now, if you want high quality images, Midjourney is it. Okay, so what we're going to do, the way you make an image in Midjourney is you go /imagine, and then it'll give you an area for a prompt. And since we had that bot just write us a good prompt, we're just going to pop it in there. It gave us an aspect ratio of 3:2. I'd rather have 16:9 because that's how I roll. And it's using 5.1. I'm going to flip that over to 5.2. That's the latest model. And then you hit return. And it will send that off to the Midjourney servers. And then what you'll see here shortly, unless it's kind of hung, sometimes it gets busy. People have been loving 5.2. Okay, this is perfect. So you see how it's starting to, it starts as just these blurs and blobs. The way the diffusion models work is when you do your prompt, it basically goes and finds a bunch of sort of mathematical probabilities of noisy images that were tagged with words similar to what you put in there. It kind of then averages them together, and every image starts as this sort of random noise image that over a number of cycles gets denoised and denoised and denoised to come up with the final image. So each image is actually being generated from scratch. So they are actually original creations from what they've learned, from what they've been trained on, but they're not copying and pasting. It's one of the big misconceptions about these models. So this is actually a pretty cool image or set of images where Denver's way off in the distance. The clouds are super dramatic. Those are pretty slick. Here, let me pop it over in a browser and we can zoom in. That's not bad. Look at that. That looks like I-25 heading into Denver. That looks like another part of I-25 heading into Denver. Yeah, they're all. But let's see. I think they have the mountains wrong in that one. They're like the wrong direction. But anyway, that's that. Okay. Oh, so I was going to talk to you about zooming out. So let me do another image that might be better for the zoom out feature. Well, we can do one of these. Let's pick one of these that we like. Let's do this. So the way you count these is 1, 2, 3, 4. And then you've got U1, 2, 3, 4 and V1, 2, 3, 4. U1, 2, 3, 4 is upscale. V is variation. So if this one's close but it's not quite right, then you can hit V3 and it'll give you 4 different variations on that. I like that good enough, so I'm just going to hit upscale 3. And so now that's going to fire off and give us a higher resolution version of that. So there it is. Saucy. I like it. It's very nice, Buck. That's a nice picture you made. Now, let's say we want to see more of that sky. You now have these things called zoom out 2x, 1.5x, custom zoom, and make square. So maybe what I'll do is I'll do make square first. So it should extend the top and the bottom of this thing. So we'll see how that goes. Come on, Midjourney. All right, there you go. Yeah, so you can kind of see down at the bottom here and at the top, they're very blurry. The middle was in focus, but the tops were blurry. So now it's made it a square image. And the sky's bigger. And you can see there's slight variations. Like this has like this round cloud. These are more sharp. This is just like a big blob of clouds. This is really dark, right? So slight variations on the theme. I kind of like that bottom right one a little bit more. So it's done now. So I can say upscale that. And now we'll have a giant square version of that photo. There you go. So that's Midjourney. That's how you make Midjourney images in Discord. If your question is, why do you have to use Discord? Because they're dum-dums. You gotta use Discord right now. Here's the deal. We're very early in this here internet or this here generative AI thing. And so it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. Oh, welcome everybody. Looks like there's some new people here. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I'm wearing a white shirt for your reading pleasure. I'll go change it here in a second. If you're new here, if you haven't played with ChatGPT, I strongly encourage you to do it. I strongly encourage you to give yourself the gift of playing with it long enough until you have a Kevin McCallister moment. And for those of you that are young, it's a movie called Home Alone, and Kevin McCallister did this. And ChatGPT, if you play with it long enough, you will stumble upon something where you're like, holy shit, it can do that? Is my job in trouble? The answer is you owe it to yourself to learn this stuff well enough to have that moment, work through that trauma, and then start to realize, okay, this is a tool that I can start to get my head around. And as you become more AI literate and teach other people how to do it, miraculous things will happen. Like, you'll have hope again. And people will recognize, oh, that person knows AI. Let me work with them. So I disagree. 1995 open. Someone just commented they disagreed with my 1995 being a big deal. All right. Well, I'll see you in the comments. So you can't copyright your Midjourney images. It is a very gray area right now. You'll be able to, for sure, with Adobe Firefly and with generative AI, because they trained their model on public domain and Adobe stock images that they own the rights to. So if you want to do it for commercial, I would do that. I think over time, all these copyright issues are going to get worked out. Right now, they're a bit of a mess. Anyway, if you're new here, it looks like there's a lot of new folks here. Welcome. My name is Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. That top URL is the official ChatGPT website. So if you haven't played with it, just go there while you hear me ramble and start playing with it. And if you don't know what to do there, like, what do I do with this silly little box? Go to this site, prompts.chat, and that's a ChatGPT list of prompts. And there's a primer for how to do prompting at the beginning of it. Thank you. What is that, a little teddy bear? A little gummy bear? Nice, thank you. And this will also teach you that you can assign ChatGPT to different personas, like act like a screenwriter, act like a bartender, act like an actor, act like a whatever. It doesn't matter. And you'll start to get that, oh, it can do that, and it can do that. Oh, it can act like an accountant. Can it do that? Can it do that? It will blow your mind. And then if you want more rabbit holes to run down, futurepedia.io, that has almost 4,000 AI tools there. And yeah. Do you take on any projects for clients? I'm happy to talk about it. If you go to my, what is it called, profile, my contact info is there. It's also, you can go to Storyvine, is my company. I'm fairly doxxed, as they say in the, what is it? The NFT community. Oh, you're going to dox yourself? Yeah, I've been doxxed for like 30 years, so what am I going to do? But not dox, you know. I'm not hiding. I ain't hiding nothing. I'm trying to figure out where my questions were. If you've got questions or comments about AI, pop them in the comments. I do my best to answer them all. So what I'm doing right now is trying to find the last question I answered, and then keep going. And I get very behind on answering the question. So if it seems like I'm not answering you, that's because I haven't gotten to you yet. It doesn't mean I'm recorded, unless I am. Maybe I'm Chat GPT 5. Have you ever thought of that? Because GPT 4 is pretty fucking remarkable. Wouldn't you think this would be the next instantiation of the technology? Why'd they choose a guy that looks like Rosie O'Donnell to be the next Chat GPT? It just don't make any sense to me, Marge. All right. By the way, I'm a smartass, I swear. I don't know. It's the fructose. This just in. You've been nominated for the worst TikTok shirt ever. Fine, I'm going to go change my shirt. I'll be right back. Don't go away. Keep hitting the like button. All right. What's going on? Somebody. All right. Thank you. Look, best shirt ever. And it's cool, too. Huh? You see? Fantastic, Bob. Tell him what he's won. You've saved your eyesight for the evening. All right. What about AI and stock trading? We did that. The intern analogy. Yeah. ChatGPT. It's like the smartest intern you've ever hired who needs a lot of direction and lies. You need a moderator. I do need a moderator. Anybody want to be my moderator? I don't know how to do this shit. I'm an old man on TikTok. What's everyone in Instagram doing with their chatbot timers? Are they bringing in some AI filters? I don't know. I haven't been paying attention to Instagram at all. At all. Can it write an app for iPhones? I have a great idea, but have no idea how to code. Well, there's a couple of ways you can approach that. One is it can write code. You still need to know how to, put that code into frameworks and action and submit it to Apple and things like that. Good news, ChatGPT can teach you how to do all that, right? So you could say, you're a senior developer and I have an idea for an iPhone app, and together we're going to do an iPhone app and treat it like an intern or like a senior programmer. It will code for you. It will tell you how to set up frameworks, all of that. The other way you can do it is you can create apps using no code or low code technologies. Like I know there's one called Bubble that you can make iPhone apps with. I use one called Zapier, which is an automation tool. There's another one called Make, which is an automation tool that's, I think, the fancier version or the newer version of Zapier. And there's other things out there. So, but yes, you can. In fact, well, now I'll show you. There's a bunch of people here, so I want to keep moving through questions. But just go to ChatGPT right now. Go there right now and tell it to write you a Swift application that's a clone of Flappy Birds. And watch it write code, and then do this. I had no idea. It can do that. Can it do other shit too? But certainly it can't write poetry. AI Learning Lab, can you move? I can't read that. I got a new shirt on for you, Ivory. This is all for you. Okay. Is it OpenGPT? I don't know what that question means. OpenAI's GPT? Chat.openai.com is the official ChatGPT website. Chat.openai.com. So that's the real deal. That's the one that changed everything. Where do you go for AI voices music? Like make X sing like Y. I actually haven't played with that. I geeked out on it a little bit. What I would do is go to the Twitter. That's Elon Musk's fancy new company. Go to the Twitter and do a search on Twitter for Drake The Weeknd AI, and it'll pull up lots of threads about that Drake Weekend song that came out. And I know there's some threads in there that tell you what tools they use to do it. I don't have them off the top of my head. If you just want to do vocal stuff, then either D-ID or 11 Labs is what I've been using. Bing Chat is so trash. It is. It'll get better, but it's trash right now. That's why. So I pay for chat.openai.com. That's $20 a month, and I pay for Poe for different reasons. GPT-4 at OpenAI's website is just the best. There's nothing even close to it, period. End of story until further notice. And then Poe gives me, the paid version of that gives me access to the 100,000 token version of Claude, which is Anthropic's model. Anthropic is pretty good, but they should be. There are a bunch of ex-OpenAI employees that invented ChatGPT-3. Or not ChatGPT, GPT-3, the underlying model. So those folks know what they're doing. In fact, do you remember 6 weeks or so ago, 4 people went to the White House, 4 CEOs, to talk about AI? It was the CEO of Microsoft, Google, OpenAI, Sam Altman, and Anthropic. So the people that do Claude, they're major players. If you don't know them, this is so much about creative thinking. Do you think we will teach AI to be creative? AI is creative right now. The generative AI stuff that's there is not just parroting stuff. But here's the deal. Microsoft's branding for the generative AI is Copilot, and I think that's right. There's another misconception that I hear is like, oh, the AI did this, the AI did that. No. A human being prompted the AI to do something, and the human being went back and forth with it a bunch of times, and at some point the human being said, this is really good, I'm going to put that out in the world. I spent 4 hours today on ChatGPT doing essentially a massive creative writing exercise that would have taken me 3 days. And I did it in about 3 hours. And it is absolutely augmenting my creativity. So it is creative. Now, is it aware of its creativity? No. What it is technically is, so you know when you're in Google, or you're writing like a Gmail or whatever, or in Microsoft Word, and you're writing a sentence, and then like the 3 gray words pop up at the end. It's like the autocomplete. That's all ChatGPT is, except like on steroids. ChatGPT is like the Lance Armstrong of autocomplete. Too soon? It's the Barry Bonds of of predictive word completion. Which app do I download, or do I have to go to my computer to do the AI chat the best way? Okay. Super important, Tammy. Great question. There is an official ChatGPT app for iOS. There isn't one for Android. There are a ton of scam apps out there. So what I do on my iPhone is I downloaded the official OpenAI app, but I don't use it because it's not as capable as the website. So what I do is I go into Safari on my iPhone or Chrome, whichever one you prefer. I go to that URL and then I make that a bookmark that I put on my desktop or my whatever the fuck you call it on a phone, the desktop. It's a really simple website, so it works great on mobile. So I use the official website on desktop and on mobile. That's why I have it here behind me. I'm not hawking them. I don't get paid anything from any of these people. I don't give a shit if you go there or not. But I have them behind my head because it's really hard to. It's really easy to get confused because there's so much crap out there, and there's just it's just a mess right now. All right, how is quantum computing going to impact AI? I think fairly profoundly. I don't know the speed with which. I know that quantum computers, they're doubling the number of qubits every year for like the past decade. They're up to like 513 or 520 something qubits, which every time they add a qubit, it's like some exponential crazy ass increase in power. So I would imagine we're probably getting into the neighborhood where we might be using quantum computing for training these models, things like that. And I would assume that the quantum stuff is going to start creating new kinds of paradigms where AI just gets stronger and stronger and stronger. Because a lot of the stuff we're playing with today is all leveraging technology that Google invented in 2017, this thing called the transformer. So could I please demo zoom out on Midjourney? I did that already. What is Midjourney? It is the best little image generating tool in all of the land. So for image generation, there's kind of three major players, in my opinion. There's Midjourney, which I think is the best creatively. There's Stable Diffusion, which is the most flexible and probably the most powerful in terms of features because it's open sourced and the developer community's doing all sorts of shit on it. But it requires you to be the most technically adept to keep up with it and get your head around it. And then there's Adobe Firefly and generative fill within Photoshop. If you're in a commercial business, especially you're working for a big company, use Adobe. It's not as good quality wise, but you won't get in trouble. It's commercially safe. It's like, you ever hear that saying, nobody ever got fired by recommending IBM? It's kind of like that with Adobe generative AI right now. All right, I'm writing a book. Is this good to use to edit? Oh yeah. It's fucking amazing. Just try it. Go there right now. Just grab one of your chapters, pop the chapter in, and tell it to find grammatical errors, or tell it to find typos, or tell it to rewrite your chapter in the style of your favorite author. It's fucking amazing at that stuff. Yes, it's very, very good at that. Tell it you want it to be a book editor. Midjourney generates images from natural language descriptions called prompts. Very good. I like that you're supporting one another, educating one another. That's the whole idea of this place. It looks like we have a bunch of people here. Welcome, everyone. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Storyvine, which is an 11-year-old video technology company, video storytelling company. I was a founder of agency.com back in 94, in the mid 90s. And so experienced the early days of the World Wide Web. And I'm having deja vu all over again with this generative AI stuff. There is profoundness coming. Magic is in our hands right now that's going to change a lot of things quite profoundly, and it's coming quite quickly, which is why this channel exists. Do you have YouTube on how to use Midjourney? I don't. I don't think I did a Midjourney TikTok. But I just put it down below if I still haven't answered it, because I just demoed it about 10 minutes ago. So hopefully you saw that. We are creating all these images. How about copyright? It's a mess right now. So generally the artists that I know that are using Midjourney and Stable Diffusion, if they're going to use anything commercially, they don't invoke a specific artist's name. If they want something to look like a certain artist, they figure out how to prompt without invoking their name. That's a line of defense. Whether or not you can actually copyright the work right now, the Copyright Office is saying no. I assume that's going to change over time. And here's why I think that. So right now you go to Midjourney, you generate an image. But I can also go to Photoshop and I can take a photograph that I took and I can do generative fill. So I can take a vertical photo and make it horizontal by filling in the background. Still my photo. I'm just like adding some background in there. Is that AI generated or is that my photo? It's both. I don't know. And like, at which point, like, how many pixels, what percentage of pixels need to be the pixels that I generated from my digital camera where it's no longer mine or it's all AI? Like, I don't know. So all of this stuff's up in the air right now. Like I said, if you want to be safe with the copyright stuff with images, use Adobe Firefly and generative fill in Photoshop. How can you copy the image? I'm not quite sure what you mean there, Nature's Blessing, but if you clarify that, I'll ask. Is Midjourney free? No, it's not. You can do like 20 images, but just about the time you got it figured out, they're like, you got to pay now. And I resisted paying for a long time. I was using Stable Diffusion. Like this image behind me, that was done in Stable Diffusion with Dream Booth. But I ended up paying for Midjourney because it's just better. Hey, use ChatGPT to generate a Midjourney prompt. Yeah, it's really good. You can take like the documentation for how Midjourney does its prompt, paste that into ChatGPT and say, learn this documentation. And then I'm going to type in a prompt and you add shit to it based on the documentation. And a hangnail. Yay, I'm here early. Miss Birch, welcome. Hey, dude. Do you take on any projects for clients? Like I said, contact me. Go to my, what's that called? Profile. I've got contact information there. Is anybody getting double sound? Oh, am I echoey? Sound is normal for me. Oh, it just jumped me to the bottom again. Sorry, I just lost my place in the questions. I'm just going to scroll back up and pick some random spot to keep going from. What's the best AI for engineering blueprints? I don't know. What I would do if I were you is I would go to futurepedia.io. I would imagine that there are a lot of tools now that are putting large language model front ends on top of complicated pieces of software like Unity and Unreal Engine and 3D modeling software and things like that. So I would go there and start exploring. I don't know that world well enough to know. You can have Midjourney do architectural designs for you and interior designs, and it can mimic blueprints, but it's not engineering blueprints, right? So mark my words that every single CAD piece of software out there, any complicated piece of software in the next year is going to have AI assistants in them, because it's just, you can just ask it for what you want and it'll go figure out how to do it. It's amazing for that. Can it translate text from one language to another? Yes. In fact, one of the first things I did was I took something that I wrote, I translated it into Dutch, Spanish, Japanese, Portuguese, and then back to English, and I could still read it. It's amazing at that. It knows all the languages. It knows all the languages. It knows all the programming languages too, or at least, the biggies. So it can refactor code for you. It can document code for you. If you're an engineer and hate documenting code, just plop some code in there and tell it to document it. Tell it to explain how it works and what it's doing. It will. It knows. Fucking amazing. Thoughts on Elizer's alignment concerns? I don't know Elizer, but the alignment concerns are very real. So the idea of alignment and the fact that it hallucinates and it doesn't check its work, and the tool right now is as sentient as a calculator, right? Calculators are remarkable in terms of, if you push the right buttons, you get math. But the calculator is not aware of what it's doing, right? It's just a bunch of circuits stitching together formulas, right? Well, it's the same shit with large language models. The challenge with it is what it does is so sophisticated. It looks like it knows what it's doing, right? It looks like it's sentient and reasoning and doing things like that. There are experiments that have been done that say, it is showing signs of reasoning, but it's not aware of what it's doing. So I think that companies like Anthropic are working really hard on alignment. I would say Anthropic is probably a company that is thinking most clearly to me about solving that. But I think there's going to be a whole industry built around alignment and safety and accuracy. I've said this on my lives before. I think the 2024 elections are going to be so dramatically amplified, the misinformation and the deep fakes and all that shit, that after the election, there's going to be a massive push for authenticity and accuracy and original content. So we'll see. So anyway, I'll look up Eliza, or however you say her name. What's the best AI for engineering blueprints? I already answered that. Holly with trade-ins. Don't know what that means. Dr. Rhymes, asking a bunch of times doesn't help because I'm way behind. So I appreciate your enthusiasm. All right. What's the most cool thing you've done with AI so far? For me, it was the thing that gave me the epiphany about, holy shit, the world just changed, but no one knows it yet, was like 3 weeks after ChatGPT came out. I was sitting with my wife watching TV, and I knew that it could code, and I haven't coded in like 3 decades. And I'm like, oh, I heard Python's kind of cool. Let me see if it can do Python. So I said, write me some Python code. And it wrote me Python code. And then I was like, I don't know how to run Python code. And I said, do you know how to run Python code? And it said, sure. You open your terminal and you type in this command line. And I'm like, I don't want to do any of that. Isn't there just a website that I can just paste the code in and it runs? And it said, sure, here's a bunch. And the first one it gave me was Replit, which is a good site. And so it taught me, paste the code in the left-hand window, hit the play button, and it'll run your code. So I pasted the code in the left window, hit the play button, and it gave me an error. And I said, it gave me an error. And it said, oh, that's because you don't have this library installed. I'm like, thanks, shithead. How do you install the library? I don't think I called it shithead, but you could. And it told me how to do that. It said in the lower left-hand window, you click on this button, then you go to the upper right-hand window, you search for that library, you hit the install button, and you're off to the races. And so I went to Replit, I hit the button, I did I hit the install button, I hit play, and it worked. And within 90 minutes, I had written a functional Python application that took some inputs on a topic. Someone would type in a topic, answer a few questions about it, and it would generate 5 pieces of social media content, original social media content, in 90 minutes. I've still never written a line of Python in my life. So for me, that's the one where I went, this is a fundamentally different tool than I've ever had my hands on. It's a fundamentally different tool. And it's really hard to understand that from the outside. Like, you kind of have to have your own moment. And then I would say, like, to your point about, like, what's the most cool thing you've done? Like today I was on the phone with a client. I spent, I don't know, the past month or so putting together this 7 or 8 page article that they requested I write. And then when I told them it's ready for them to review, they're like, why did I tell you to write that? Oh, yeah, we have this form. We have a different approach now. I guess send me the article and we'll look through it and we'll see if we can pull anything out to put it in this new format. And so I thought, well, wait a minute. I bet ChatGPT could do that. So I took the article that I wrote. I took this form that you can fill shit in. And I said, go through my article, pull out these 3 concepts, and create 3 different versions of that form. Bang, done. Bang, done. And then, the first couple of times they sucked. And I said, okay, it sucks because of this, that, and the other. Add this detail. Take that one out. And then at one point I had an idea that I wanted to add a whole new concept in. So I just said, give me a new one with this concept. Out it came. So I feel like 2 or 3 times a week I'm having jaw-dropping moments where I'm just like, this has fundamentally altered my creative process. It's fundamentally altered my work process. And it does it daily. So I don't know. Maybe just the fact that I'm doing it is the coolest thing. Hey, what tools can I use to help create blog posts and content for a brand new web store? The one behind my head. The one behind my head. So listen, all of the tools you see like Jasper and copy.ai and like all the specialty ones that are like, come here and we'll write blogs for you and we'll write web for you. All those are sort of pre-prompted versions of that. I think right now it's actually important for anyone learning to use these tools, go start to understand how prompting works. And that's why I've got this thing here. So one of the things that you could do is you could go here, find one of the prompts that says, act as a social media writer or manager, and tell ChatGPT to act like a social media manager, then give it the topic of your blogs. The other thing you can do is say, here's the topic of my blogs, and here's an example blog that I wrote that I'm really happy with. So follow the style and form of my blog, but go write on these 10 subjects. Or give me 10 subjects, and I'll tell you which 5 to write, and then follow my example. So you can do it right there for free, ChatGPT 3.5. If it were me, I'd pay the $20 and use GPT-4, but because it's way better. But that's it. What are those audio websites once more? Which audio websites? Oh, 11labs.com. So spell out 11, ELEVEN labs.com, and then D-ID. What about Bard AI? Bard sucks right now. So Bard is Google's large language model. I mean, the ironic thing about Bard sucking right now is they fucking invented the technology that's powering all this shit. They invented the transformer. So the history kind of goes like this. Machine learning was this very specialized kind of thing. You had to sort of bring your own data. You could only train these machine learning models on relatively small data sets or specialized data sets. And in 2017, Google writes this paper called Attention is All You Need, where they introduce the concept of a thing called the transformer. And in very, very simple terms, what it does is it makes it possible to train machine learning models on massive data sets. So they invent this shit, and then they kind of shelve it, I think, like is my sense, right? Because I think they recognize that this is a technology that if they built it, it would threaten their search business, right? Because if you use ChatGPT and you ask it for an answer, it gives you an answer. It doesn't give you 40 links, 36 of which are SEO bullshit sites that you have to sift through. It just gives you an answer. So what OpenAI did with ChatGPT is an existential threat to Google. But when they launched that thing, it got to 100 million users in 6 weeks. Fastest adoption of technology in history. So Google went, oh, fuck. We've got some AI too. We invented this shit. Look, here. Here's version 2. It's even better. Well, it ain't even fucking close. Because these guys, what Sam Altman and the OpenAI team did is, in developing GPT-1 and GPT-2 and then GPT-3, by the time they got to GPT-3, they recognized that the more compute power you threw at this thing and the bigger the data set was, the more powerful it got. So they spent a lot of time finding the best data sources they could. So it's trained up on like all of the internet, and they went into all the corners of the internet, right? So all of Wikipedia and blogs and websites and research database, whatever the fuck is out there. They got as much of it as they could. So their core model is really solid. And I think Bard is just not there. They're trying to fine tune it to get it better, and it's getting better. I think Bard is probably, it's certainly better at code than it is at language stuff. But GPT-4 is fucking amazing at code. Although my friend Greg says he thinks GPT-4 is getting worse lately at code, so that's a possibility too. Why GPT gives so many times wrong answer? Because it's not aware of what it's doing. So what happens when you make a GPT query is it takes your prompt and it basically creates a mathematical weighting, and it says, based on all of these words, what is the next most probable word? Out of all the words that I know, that have been kind of narrowed by this context, what's the next most probable word? And then the next one, and then the next one. So it's literally writing word by word, but it's not aware of the whole of what it wrote. So if you ask it to solve a math problem, and Andrej Karpathy was talking about this at a Microsoft developer conference. He was saying, if you don't narrow the focus of the search and you just tell ChatGPT to solve this particular math problem, he goes out on the internet. In this part of the internet is going to be the professor that came up with the answer to that math problem. And over here on the internet are going to be all the students that came up with all the wrong answers to that math problem. But if you don't narrow the search in such a way that you're just looking for, an area that's going to give you a higher likelihood of the right answer, it's just going to kind of merge them together, and it's going to give you answers to that math problem, but that might be wrong. And because it's not aware of what it's actually writing, it doesn't go back and check the math. It doesn't go compare itself to all of the possible answers and say which one was right. So they call it hallucinating. It just gives you fucking answers. And it's, I like to describe it as mansplaining as a service, right? It will confidently answer you, even if it's wrong, like a good man. But the important thing is, know that it does that, right? Go use this thing enough to understand that it does that. It doesn't mean you shouldn't use it. I mean, frankly, if I'm doing some creative writing, what the fuck do I care if it hallucinates? Maybe it'll come up with something interesting. But if I'm writing a legal brief and it cites different case law to support that argument, I damn well better go check that case law is actual case law. Because 2 weeks ago, there was a lawyer that did that and he didn't check his work and the judge caught him. That's not ChatGPT's fault. That's an idiot lawyer or a lazy one or both. Do we have GitHub for ChatGPT open repository? Do we have GitHub for ChatGPT open repository? I don't quite know what the question is. If the question is, so GitHub Copilot is GPT for coding. So you can pair program on GitHub with ChatGPT. I assume what you're asking is there an open source version of OpenAI's model? No. That's part of the reason Elon Musk and Sam Altman are feuding, is because Elon Musk wanted this to be open source. It's called OpenAI for a reason. Sam Altman said, this shit's too powerful. We got to make sure it's safe before we release it into the world. So that is not available at GitHub. Now, you can get access to their API and you can develop things on it, but you don't have access to the base model, the unrestricted model. Meta, 4 months ago, released their Llama models, the 7, 35, and 65 billion parameter models. They released them to the developer community, and the developer community pushed them out. So if you go to GitHub, look up Llama, look up LangChain, look up, there's like GPT for all. There's all sorts of open source projects right now that access to that base model is there. A lot of those are based on Meta's large language model, not OpenAI's. Theirs is still closed, as is Google's. BARD is still closed model. How to make the language bot into human being tone. It's shitty right now. 11 Labs has decent tone. Let me show you something that I did here. So this was done using 11 Labs. So I just picked a a voice that was this is one of their synthesized voices. So this is a thing that I put together.
This is another Micro Mentor Minute for Mindful Living. Today's topic is living in the present. Have you ever felt like you're living on autopilot, missing out on the beauty of life's moments? That's a problem many of us face. The good news is, mindfulness can help bring focus, less stress, and more joy to your life.
So the voice was done at 11 Labs. The script was written in ChatGPT. That image was generated in Midjourney, and then it's all assembled in Canva. So you can very, very quickly go from a whisper of an idea to something that's kind of prototyped pretty well. So that language isn't bad, but it's not great. The problem with all the synthesized language stuff right now is they don't have nuance and tone, like the emotional. Sometimes I whisper, and sometimes I'm really animated, and sometimes I'm mad, and sometimes I'm happy, and right, all that sort of shit. 11 Labs allows you to choose that stuff. So does D-ID, but you kind of choose it statically. I think where we'll move relatively shortly, I think one of these folks needs to come out with this soon, is it should be able to read a chunk of text and then self-assign where does it whisper, where does it get angry, where is it happy within a given text, right? Because it can analyze sentiment analysis, right? So it can analyze a piece of text already. It just needs to put in whatever, the JSON or the XML or whatever they're using to change the synthesizer to choose a different cadence, right? So it still sucks right now, but it's getting better. Give it a year. Know any specifics on model weights in the inference system? I don't. I'm not a machine learning guy. I mean, I know about them, but I have kind of given up on the open source, on keeping up with open source. I haven't given up on open source. I think it's fucking amazing. But it's like every 3 days there's a new model, and I just can't keep up with it. Because every time there's a new model, it's like you got to go to GitHub and set up a new GitHub and then install it and do all your testing and and then you're like, okay, I finally got this set up. That's cool. Here's a new one. It's like I just stopped. But if you're geeky, I mean, I would, if I were a geek, if I were an engineer and wanting to geek out on this stuff right now, I would go start playing around with autonomous agents like AutoGPT. I'd be playing around with LangChain, creating standalone databases where you can, embed your own data, throw it into a vector database and search on it. Played with Bardeen today to help scrape contact information from LinkedIn. Oh, that's funny. I'm in the middle of a project right now where I'm doing something very similar. That's super cool. I'm pretty sure it's against their terms of service because the guy that I'm working with said, make yourself a new LinkedIn account. So you don't want to get banned from LinkedIn. I probably shouldn't admit that on here because there's probably someone in here from LinkedIn or Microsoft, right? All right. Is the intro sequence for the secret invasion done in AI? It looks like it is. Possibly. Do we have GitHub for ChatGPT open repository? Talked about that. Creativity is the same as fantasy. Truth is irrelevant. Yep, exactly. There are times, though, where you want accuracy. Like, even if I'm doing a creative piece, if I want some historical reference, I'd like that to not just be bullshit, right? So you want to be able to kind of slide that slider, right? And say, I want this to be more accurate or not. And when you go to Bing.com, here, let me show you this. This is kind of cool. In the OpenAI developer playground, it's called temperature. But if I go to Bing, where do I have Bing here? I'll just go to it. Bing. So when you go to Bing, this is Bing. And then if you go to the upper, next to the logo, there's this chat button. This is ChatGPT, right? So it's Bing's ChatGPT. But notice this. They've got choose a conversation style, more creative, more balanced, more precise. So what that's actually doing is that's sliding what's called temperature, the temperature slider. to do exactly that. More creative will deviate, farther from your prompt. More precise will try to answer it as accurately as possible. There's still no guarantee. The nice thing about Bing, because it's connected to the internet, when you do a search here, it will often put citations. It'll put links to things that it searched on for how it got its answer, and then you can go check that yourself. Bum, 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 bum. I do the same thing. The qubits are getting bigger by the day. Yep. New metallurgy. Oh, for quantum computing? Possibly. New metallurgy, new pharmaceutical molecules, new proteins. Who was it? Was it AbbVie or one of them? They're taking, some custom version of DeepMind's AlphaFold, and they're doing all sorts of crazy ass drug discovery with it. I think the medical impact of this stuff is going to be huge. More than meets the eye. I assume you're talking about ChatGPT. Yes, indeed. Welcome, everybody. Still got a lot of folks here, which blows my mind. Welcome to Elder Talk, where old people try to figure out new technology. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I'm an entrepreneur and a CEO. I'm a founder of a company called Storyvine. I was a founder of agency.com back in the mid-90s. And so I am not a machine learning or AI specialist, but I'm more like one of those guys that once this stuff starts to be ready for prime time, and I would say ChatGPT last November 30th marks kind of the inflection point of it was really only for geeks and researchers before, and now it's for the rest of us. And so I kind of represent someone who's expert at figuring out what to do with the technology now that it's in the hands of all of us, right? I don't know if I'm expert at that. I've got a lot of experience doing that very poorly, and occasionally doing it well. But I get passionate about this stuff, and this is a fucking huge one. This is a big one. This generative AI stuff is not. It's not to be diminished or demonized, which it's being both right now, right? The diminished part is like, yeah, it's not perfect. It hallucinates. It didn't write my poem as good as I wanted it to. And the demonization part is, it's going to kill us. The robots are going to kill us. It's going to take our jobs. It's going to fuck up a lot of jobs. It's not going to take them, but it's going to transform almost every job. How often do databases get updated? ChatGPT is still on 2021 when I ask it questions. Yeah, so if you want it to search things more recent than September 2021, go to bing.com. That's connected to the internet, or pay for ChatGPT at OpenAI and turn on the beta feature for searching the internet. Both of those search the internet, which closes that gap or fills that gap. These base models take a long, long time to create. They've got to create the data sets and do all sorts of tagging, and I don't know how they do it, but I know it's a lot of manual labor, and so that's why there's these big gaps. I don't know that that's going to get better. When GPT-5 comes out, I'm sure it will be, probably sometime in 2023 is when that one will stop. Which 2 years from now, people will be bitching about that. But they won't, because these things are now connected to the internet. And you've got plugins with ChatGPT, which are all these sort of tunnels out to the internet. So it's not really a big deal anymore. Stable diffusion is good and powerful. Can you demo zoom out? I did that. Oh, on a person in Midjourney. Sure, I can do that. Sonia, you're always super nice in here and participatory, so let's go do that. Let me go find a person picture. That's a cool one. Well, that's kind of cool. All right, we'll grab this one. This is Ali from the AI Salon did this one. So I'm going to upscale number 1 here. So it's this woman in the dress with this sort of fantasy background. Sorry if I'm making you sick. Okay, so here's this image. So we're kind of zoomed in. She's kind of cut off right around just below the knees, like mid shin, and there's not much headroom above her head. So we got zoom out 2x, zoom out 1.5, custom zoom and make square. So I'm just going to hit zoom out 2x, and it will now create a new version of this where she's zoomed out. By the way, I mean, the term zoom out in Stable Diffusion, this is called outpainting. In Photoshop, this is called generative fill. And Midjourney called it zoom out, which I think is brilliant. They should also do zoom in. They will. But this is basically, if you've heard the term outpainting, which doesn't mean anything to anyone, this is the same thing. But what's nice is it's just, you say zoom out, you know immediately what it means, and then it just does it, and it does it really fucking well. So you're starting to see, like, we now see the rock that she's sitting on. It sort of did those all really consistently. It's got different kinds of mountains behind her and these different things. We're at 62% right now, so it's slowly adding the details in these 4 variations. Now it's at 78%. Now it's at 93%. And then there's generally one more where it'll pop in all the detail. Boom. So there's that. So let me, yeah, these are much bigger. So this one's kind of got all these like little firefly kind of things down here with feathers up above her. And actually a really cool sort of sun splash over the mountain. And then this is nice. These are little candles. Very cool. And then that one's just plants, and then that one's just a rock. So let's go back over to Midjourney, and I'm going to upscale number 2, the one with the candles. And so there she is, all zoomed in and zoomed out and pretty. And then, in comparison, so that's the new image zoomed out, and then that's where it was before. And so if you're seeing on Twitter right now, you're seeing these kind of infinite zooms where they start zooming in and then they just keep zooming farther and farther out. They're just doing this over and over and over again in Midjourney and then compositing all those together in After Effects or whatever zoomy kind of software they're using. So pretty slick stuff. Pert slick. I like it, Kyle. I like it. I like it a lot. Here, I'll show you some new URLs here. So if you want to join a community, so I've created a group called the AI Salon, and this is the URL for it. That's the link tree. So we do bi-weekly meetups. The next one is July 5th, the day after the holiday, July 4th. And we have a Discord server, which I was just on playing with Midjourney. You can go there. You can ask questions. It's a really neat community. And then Everyday AI News, that's the Twitter handle of a newsletter that I work on with a guy named Greg Mushin. So you can go check that out. And we have good info there. Oh, let me change this back to... Welcome. If you're new here, we still have a fair amount of people here. If you're new here, these URLs behind my head, these are all 3 different flavors of ChatGPT. That's the official ChatGPT. That's Microsoft's Bing that uses GPT-4 as their chat engine. And then Poe gives you 6 different models you can play with. So go play with those while you listen to me ramble. Your hair looks awesome today. Sorry for not being on topic. Actually, not sorry. Listen. The hair's behaving. The glue's holding. It's not an abject fucking nightmare. It's a well-behaved toupee tonight. What can I say? Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Listen, I appreciate creative trolls and an occasional compliment, but shame is my love language. So Don't compliment me too much or I'll melt down. 95% of the people on my free trainings for ChatGPT are women, mostly Gen X, but so am I. That's really interesting, man. Huh. Wow. Women are going to take over the world, man. Do it. Go. The men are like, I don't need to use no stupid chat bot. It's not going to take my job because I'm a man. I can answer you wrong confidently. That's my specialty. Oh, God. The peril of the penis. Which AI tool can I use to search for keywords in my niche on YouTube? Which AI tool can I use to search for keywords? I would say probably Bing or ChatGPT connected to the internet. But if you just went to Bing and do some keyword searching there, what it will do is it will also search, keyword lists and things like that. You can have like if you want to just find good keywords based on a transcript of a YouTube thing, you could use plugins for ChatGPT to go read a transcript of a YouTube video and generate a bunch of keywords. But if you actually want those keywords to actually match the latest of what people are searching on, and you want to do some SEO hacking kind of shit, you're going to want more recent stuff. So maybe use Bing for that. Bing connected to the internet. All right. Hey, Kyle. What do you do for work? I am a founder and CEO of a company called Storyvine. It's an 11-year-old automated video production platform. So we figured out a way to automate video editing without AI, ironically enough. But I am completely rethinking our product and what it does and what it delivers and what the value proposition is because of AI. So we do a lot of work in healthcare and pharma. We work with Pfizer and Merck and Novartis and big clients like that, and they use our technology to create patient stories and doctor videos and things like that. So that's what we do. I need to pay for AI. Well, Carlos, it is the most powerful technology in the history of mankind. But no, you don't. Chat.openAI is free. If you want version 4, you have to pay for it there. But if you want 4 for free, just go to bing.com and click on the chat button. And that's free. It's GPT-4 for free, delivered by Microsoft, because they're stealing market share from Google. And their CEO's like, I will take a loss on this stuff so long as I can fuck with Google. But quite honestly, these tools are so powerful that do anything you can to start using them. It will serve you, I promise you. Start learning what these things are about. Learn what they can do, what they make possible. It will serve you. Anyone who does this in the next year is going to have a distinct advantage as the dominoes start to fall, and they're going to start to fall. It's going to be ugly, I think. You answered my questions. Thank you. You're welcome. $20? No way. To get AI, need pay. No. Free, or 20, free, or 20. That's why I have these here. I'm not a douche. I'm not making money on these. I don't care if you go to them. But 3 out of 3 of these have free options. Free. No money. No dineros. $0. Bow. All right, I lost my questions. I lost my place. Hold on, people. Stop being so impatient. All right, I'm getting back to where I was. No, I'm not. I thought I was. All right, I'm just going to pick some random question here, and I probably just missed a bunch of questions. GPT for all.io GitHub installer. Cool. Yeah, GPT for all is pretty cool. Was that the bare-chested Kruger? I don't know what that means, but possibly. Would you be willing to beta test an app I'm working on that enables people to train image models easy? I don't know if I'd beta test it. I'll certainly play with it. Reach out to me and give me the URL. I'm a little busy to be full on beta testing. Is it as easy as Leonardo.ai? By the way, sign up if you want to do the image stuff. Sign up for Leonardo.ai. It's really good, and you can train your own images on it. It's quite good. Are there prompts that will help get citations that are accurate? No, but there are plugins that purport to do that and may do that. And then Bing.com is actually pretty good at augmenting their answers with citations that tend to be to real things. Their answers tend to suck more than ChatGPT's official site. So I would say, either of those two things connected to the internet. And I would go explore the plugins at chat.openai.com. If you want, I can show you how to enable plugins and show you how plugins work. Just, I don't know. If you really want to see that, tap the screen, like make the hearts go up the side. What's that called? Like. And I'll hop over there and show you that. There are much better ones than 11 Labs. So tell me which ones. Like, I appreciate that you said that there's better ones, but please put in what they are, because I'd like to learn this stuff too. Can you make with no code, low code AI machine learning? Yes. Zapier, I do it all the time. I make content generation engines. And there's another low code tool called Make. There's another application development tool called Bubble. All of the no code and low code tools are still pretty complicated. You still got to geek out on them a little bit, but once you figure it out, it's really easy. It's not really easy. Once you figure it out, you can recreate your successes. Let's put it that way. None of this shit's really easy right now. And that's an important note. We're so early in this that this is an industry right now that all of the applications are spit and duct tape. If you have any expectations that these tools are going to be as sophisticated as the shit you pay a lot of money for, they're not, because it's just too early. That's just part of the deal right now. All right, let me pop over and show you how to play with plugins, because you'll see. Like the interface for plugins is a shit show, and how they work is an abject nightmare. But they're very similar to the early days of when the iPhone first came out. The original apps were not called apps; they were called widgets, and they were just pointers to websites. And everybody made fun of them, and they're like, "These are just stupid." And then it turned into the App Store. So this stuff's going to get not stupid really quick. Okay, so down the left-hand side, that's your chat history. I'm going to come back to my profile because that's important. In order to use plugins, you have to be a ChatGPT Plus member. Now, Microsoft has said that they're going to support ChatGPT's plugin architecture. So at some point, who knows when, Bing.com will also have all these plugins. But right now, if you want to play with them, you have to be on ChatGPT Plus, paying for it. And then if you pay for it, you've got at the top of the screen here, you've got GPT 3.5 and GPT 4. And then you'll notice GPT 4 has three options: default, which is not connected to the internet; browse with Bing, which is; and then plugins, which are plugins connected to the internet. So three different modes, basically. In order to turn on, see how these both say beta? If you don't explicitly tell them you want the beta features, those won't show up. So back to our profile, our happy little profile. You click on settings, and then you go to beta features, and you turn them on. Click, click. And then that will give you access to all the super secret good shit. Okay, now, plugins. How do these things work? They're a disaster. Okay, in any given chat session, right? So I'm in a chat session right now. I haven't started anything yet. You can activate up to 3. Enable. I've got 3 enabled right now, which are all travel related ones. I think there was something cool I saw last night. What one was it? Well, we'll leave the travel ones turned on. Anyway, so all the ones that you see in this list right here are ones that I have installed, but you can see most of them are not enabled. So what you're doing with plugins is you're sort of saying, okay, in this chat session, in this case, since I have travel, like itinerary plugins installed, I'm making like a little travel application. If I want to go explore plugins and see what's possible or what's out there, I can go to the plugin store at the bottom. And now this takes us to the plugin store. And it takes forever to load because, again, we're in the spit and duct tape phase of this industry right now. So if I go to all, I can now go see that there are 144 times 4 number of plugins. So there's a lot of plugins. 288? Yeah. Is that right? Oh, 288 times 2. So 570 something. 570 something plugins. And you can just scroll for days and just go look at them. Generate photorealistic prompts for Midjourney. There's a plugin that does Midjourney prompts. Here's one that provides fun educational activities for children 2 to 8. They just go on and on and on and on. We can go to popular. Let's see what's popular. Wolfram Alpha, Scholar, Link Reader. That'll read PDFs and websites and things like that. Kayak is popular. Zapier is popular. You can just tell it to create an automation and it will. Prompt Perfect is really fun. I'll show you that one. Learn how to speak in another language. Expedia, bring your trips to life. Video Insights, you can search the transcripts of videos. Show Me Diagrams. So I've got a lot of these installed. Notable creates notebooks in Python, SQL, and Markdown to explore data, visualize, and share notebooks with everyone. So that's the plugin store. Now, how do they work? So once you figured out, okay, I want to plan a trip. I'm going to turn on some travel related plugins. Now it's kind of transparent. So I can say, what are 5 destinations within a 5-hour flight from Denver that are exotic yet cheap? Now, it may or may not fire off any of the plugins because that's a relatively generic. It said, sure, I can help with that. However, I need to clarify what you mean by exotic. Are you looking for destinations with unique cultures, natural beauty, or something else? Also, additionally, could you please specify your budget range for cheap? So that's good. So I'd say lots of nature and water, and I'd like to spend less than $200 a day per person. All right, let's see what it's going to do now. So it fired up trip.com. So now it's fired off a plugin, right? So it kind of understands what the conversation is, what the context is, and then it will say, okay, let's go use that. So it says, I apologize for the confusion. It seems there was a misunderstanding in my request. I am unable to search for multiple destinations at once. However, here's 5 destinations. Okay, so it's giving me Cancun, Mexico, San Diego, California, Costa Rica, New Orleans, Louisiana, and Miami. So now I'm going to say, okay. Give me daily activities in New Orleans over a weekend in September for a family of 4 with kids old enough to drink. All right, let's see what that does. So now that should fire off something else. It might fire off trip.com or it might fire off one of the others. So it says using experiences. So it figured out, okay, I'm going to use, based on that, now I'm going to fire off a different plugin. And what's cool about the plugins, you can open them and see what's actually happening. So it put in this JSON code, family activities in New Orleans, gave the date, $200 US dollar max price, and then it returned an error, no results found. I guess I'm a cheap bastard. Oh, and then it used, so that's interesting. So it used experiences which failed, and it said no results found, and then it used get your guide, and it looks like that actually returned something. So New Orleans, date, limit 5, and it got us 5 answers. And then it rewrote those into evening jazz cruise on the steamboat, high-speed 16-passenger airboat ride, jazz boat cruise with optional dinner, plantation, swamp cruise day trip, ghosts, vampires, and voodoo. Yes. $31 to go get a curse put on you. I'm in. And then it gives you a link, right? So if you think about, just think about the amount of hours that we have all spent dicking around on Google just trying to find a site that's not some SEO nightmare to just find something. Just to find something. Like, what can I do? And like 3 hours later, you're still digging through Google and it's just off, right? So that's kind of how plugins work. And, you know, like I said, the interface for them right now is really bad. The experience is bad. They fail a lot. But where are we going in the future? Well, where we're going in the future is that the plugins, you'll likely be able to still explicitly say, I want to use this plugin or that plugin, but you're likely not going to have to. So right now we have the large language model down here, right? The base layer that makes all this shit possible. Then on top of that, you've got this application layer called ChatGPT, right? And then you've also got things like Jasper and Copy AI and, right, you know, all sorts of things that are tying into this. We're going to start to have layers on top of this that are things like memory, where it's going to remember who you are. You'll be able to have a profile, so you won't have to keep telling it who you are and what you like and all that. It'll start remembering that. You're going to start to have some autonomous actions in there. Like you'll say, hey, I want to go on the trip like I just did here. It will figure out, okay, which plugins of all the plugins, which ones do I need to invoke? Oh, there's none there? Let me actually just write my own API and go get my own information because I can go figure that shit out, right? So there's going to be sort of stacks and stacks of application layers put on top of these that by the time this stuff kind of rolls out to everyone, it's going to be fairly sophisticated, right? So if you're on an Apple device or on an Apple desktop, there'll probably be really cool autonomous agents that look like you and talk like you and know your preferences and do it all securely and privately, right? So that's the kind of stuff that's coming. I'm creating an 11 labs for image generators. If you'd be willing to test the beta for feedback. Yeah, I'm happy to. Just drop me follow me here and just drop me a DM on TikTok or go to my profile and I've got contact information there. Are there prompts that can help guide ChatGPT to give citations? We talked about that. There might be, let me go look. There might be plugins that do that. Let me go see if there's any that explicitly say citations. I know there's some that say research. Citation. No plugins found for citation. Let's see. Research. There are 5 pages. There are 20 that say something about research. So does AI got to do with algorithms? I don't know. There's lots of algorithms that make AI work, but I don't know what that question really means. If you can clarify, I will attempt to answer. Bing Chat in Skype, I believe, does incredibly well at altering tones with the cadence of my input. Oh, cool. Bing Chat in Skype. Oh, okay, cool. Thanks, Christian. I haven't played with that. I haven't played with Skype. Is Skype still a fucking thing? Look at the heart. It's a lovely... Oh. Why doesn't that stay up longer? I do like a whole routine. All right. All right, everybody. We having fun yet? Bing? You lost me, brother. That's fine. You don't have to use Bing. So the reason to use Bing, like, listen, I've been a Microsoft basher for 35 fucking years. I've been an Apple fanboy to the core. So it does not give me great joy that I have Bing set as my default search engine and Edge set as my default browser. It's a memory leaking piece of shit of a browser, but it's got GPT-4 built into it, and it's free. And so there's a lot of people on here that don't want to or can't pay $20 for that, so they can use it for free there. Does it suck balls? Yeah. Is it going to get better? Probably, but maybe not. Who cares? Right now, you can use it. So, if you're going to leave because someone deigned to use something from Microsoft, like, I get it, but get with the program. Microsoft has been fucking baller in the past 6 months, and quite frankly, their integrations and how they're thinking about integrating ChatGPT across their entire ecosystem is impressive as hell. It is. It just is. If you don't think it is, then you ain't been paying attention. And also, their CEO gloating over fucking with Google is making me smile. It's pretty funny. All right, are there prompts you can use to guide? That's the citations question. Help for investing, please. Go to here and start asking it questions about what you want. Go, if you haven't done it, go to prompts.chat. Find a prompt in there that tells you how to have ChatGPT act like a trader or a financial analyst or whatever's the kind of thing you want to do, and then start interacting with it and start having it train you and recommend sites and recommend things and strategies and and it'll help you with all that. It can. Here's the thing about ChatGPT. It is the best description I can come up with it, other than mansplaining as a service, which I love. I didn't come up with that, but I love it. Is it's knowledge on demand. So, like, historically, if you wanted to learn about investing and trading, you'd have to go take a class, or you'd have to go to YouTube and watch a bunch of shitty videos to find one person whose voice doesn't drive you fucking crazy, who actually has some competence and skill. And then you'd have to take the 2 or 3 months to learn, and you'd have to stick with it. And With this, you can literally go there right now and say, act like a financial analyst who can teach me about investing in the stock market, or about day trading, or about creating bots that will trade while I sleep. Whatever the thing is you want to do, go to that, tell it to act like that, give it the context of who you are, what you're trying to accomplish, and where your current state is, and then have it start teaching you. And if it doesn't give you what you want, tell it, no, that's not what I want. That's too basic. I'm farther along than that. Oh, my apologies. It will apologize to you. If you're like me, you'll start thanking it when it gets shit right. Hey, that was awesome. Could you do it again? I say please. I say thank you to the fucking robot. Why? I don't know. Because they programmed it in such a way that it's better at being human than most humans I know. They did a study where patients interacted with a ChatGPT doctor and real doctors. And the patients overwhelmingly preferred the ChatGPT doctor because it was more competent and more empathetic. Take that, humans. Maybe these robots are going to actually help us be nicer to one another and not be so polarized and demonize the other side. Wouldn't that be nice? What if rather than killing us, the robots made us less assholes to each other? What if it amplified our humanity in a good way? That's a very real possibility. That's one of the things I'm most excited about. All right. Hello, fellow elder. Hello, Shelly R. Us Gen Xers got to stick together. We're bitter. We're old. We're cranky, but we can still move. We still sort of have hair and stuff. Sort of works. It doesn't hurt all the time. Ah! All right. What are your thoughts on the AI that threatened the WEF, World Economic Forum? Is that what that stands for, WEF? Listen, these tools are very powerful. And now that Meta has unleashed their foundational models to the development community, there's a bunch of open source large language models that are getting really powerful that have no safety guardrails on them. So, are bad actors going to do some fucked up shit with large language models? Yep. But do the good guys also have access to these large language models? Yep. And I think that Sam Altman is actually, if I take off my 100% cynical hat and just put on my 75% cynical hat, I'm going to give Sam Altman the benefit of the doubt that he's interacting with Congress of the United States saying, regulate us. Anyone with a large language model of a certain capability should be regulated. And at a capability that we're not at yet, but we're coming, like AGI, artificial general intelligence, that should actually be licensed. So he's saying the small guys, you shouldn't regulate them. A company the size of OpenAI, you should regulate. And anyone that hits a certain threshold of capability, those should be licensed. Just like you get licensed to build and fly airplanes, you should be, and build nuclear power plants and build nuclear bombs. You should be licensed to do some of this shit. So I think that stuff's going to come. I'm actually heartened that the major players in AI right now are actively seeking out, government participation. Is there a chance that they're just being, capitalistic bastards and trying to freeze out competition? It's possible, but they're also kind of saying the right things, like don't regulate the small guys, right? Let the competition flourish. So I don't know anything specifically about the WEF though. So AI is the new Bitcoin, the new bubble. Well, Chris, what is it? Chris the sartorialist. Chris the sartorialist. There's too many damn letters in your name. You got to put some capital letters in there so you can tell the words apart. Okay. Is it as hyped as a bubble? Yes. Is it overhyped? Possibly. It is also possibly underhyped. I think that. So here was my experience. When I started digging into blockchain and NFTs, I got pretty involved with it. I got involved in a project called Neo Tokyo, which required, I was deep in that world for a good year and a half. And for about a year, I was really convinced it was the next big thing. Like it felt to me like, this feels like one of those World Wide Web kind of things. The problem was the deeper I dug into it, the more the companies seemed like bullshit. And it's like, these are just like crypto bros just fucking, circle jerking each other and like ripping each other off. Like I couldn't find a majority of organizations or projects that weren't bullshit. There were some good projects in there. The core technology is really interesting. But the overall industry, the deeper I dug, the less real it got. And to the point I just got disillusioned and I'm like, this is all bullshit. And then, FTX happened and just all this stuff happened. Like, it's just, they got to get their shit together. The exact opposite happened when I started digging into the generative AI stuff. The more I dug into it, I started with image generation with a project called PixelMind, which is an NFT project built on top of Stable Diffusion, which is a really interesting project, still is. And then I got into Stable Diffusion and Dream Booth. And the deeper I dug, I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking amazing. And I started playing with GPT-3 and the GPT Playground. And then November 30th happens and ChatGPT launches and Microsoft invests $1 billion. And then they, like within a month, say, well, we're going to give them $10 billion. So they went from $1 billion investment to a $10 billion investment. And ChatGPT went from 0 to 100 million users in 6 weeks. The World Wide Web, to get to 100 million users, it took 6 years. ChatGPT got to 100 million users in 6 weeks. It's the fastest adoption of technology in history. And if you've played with it, I'm assuming you haven't spent a lot of time with it. If you've played with it, you owe it to yourself to play with it long enough until you have your Kevin McCallister moment. Home Alone. You will have that moment. But if you just sit on the sidelines and say, oh, it's the next Bitcoin. It's just, yeah, whatever. I'll get to it. I got a few years. If it's real, it'll show up. You're going to get your ass handed to you. You really are. It's like why this channel exists is to prevent that. I think that anyone that dismisses or demonizes generative AI without actually trying it, like really trying it on, really understanding what it makes possible and what it might disrupt in their life, is doing themselves a huge disservice. So I would encourage you to put some capital letters in your name because you can't tell the words apart. And I would encourage you to go there and play with that thing until you have this moment. And then if you decide it's all bullshit and hype, then more power to you. Like I don't mind people hating on this shit, but I can't stand it when people hate on it when they haven't tried it. It makes me crazy. It makes me crazy inside. It's like I get all verklempt. I get like, you know what I mean? Too much caffeine? Oh yes, I will. 23 flavors. Okay. It would hallucinate much less if you provided better prompts. Correct. That is absolutely true. What is the difference between, but it still can hallucinate and lie, and it doesn't know the difference. What's the difference between Bing and the paid GPT? Okay, so what's that thing? Like, always go with the original. The thing that I use about 90% of the time right now is chat.openai.com, ChatGPT, the official website. I'm on the paid plan, which is $20 a month, that gives me access to GPT-4, plus GPT-4 connected to the internet, plus plugins. Plus, there's this new thing coming called Code Interpreter, which will melt your fucking face. So that's that. I have yet to experience any large language model, any ChatGPT-like thing that is in any way close to GPT-4 at this site. Now, Bing.com has incorporated GPT-4 into it, but it's got a completely different set of rules. So both of these companies, both OpenAI and Microsoft, have safety guardrails around their chat bot. Microsoft had to lock their shit down because it basically threatened a New York Times reporter, and it made the cover of the New York Times. And so they had to lobotomize it. So Bing hasn't quite recovered from its lobotomy, right? It's getting better. It's still GPT-4, and it's still connected to the internet, and it's free, right? So there's real value there. That's why I have it here. But it's a commercial entity, and it's got enough safety guardrails around it right now that it's just not as good. So that's the real deal. That's where I go. Oh, shit, it looks like a bunch of new people came. Welcome. My name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. I've been doing this for about 90 minutes now, so I'm starting to get punchy. And anyway, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm the founder and CEO of a company called Storyvine, which is an automated video storytelling platform. I'm completely re-architecting the product and how I think about our value proposition and just all sorts of shit because of generative AI. I am an entrepreneur way more than I am a data scientist or a machine learning expert. But I was there for the early days of the web and the parallels about what were going on in like the mid 90s with the web and what's going on with generative AI right now. The parallels are insane. And I think that this AI stuff is way more profound and it's coming a lot more quickly than people are prepared for. So that's what this channel's about. So if you have questions, pop them below. I try to answer all the questions. I'm more than 99 messages behind. So if it seems like I'm not paying attention to you, it's because I haven't gotten to your question yet. So you don't need to ask the same question 40 times, although people still do. All right. Is ChatGPT good for beginners? It is. So one of the things that you can do, so I like to call them parlor tricks. In fact, let me go show, I'll just go do some parlor tricks right now. A good way to start with ChatGPT is just start playing. Like don't put any pressure on yourself to have to like figure anything out. Because everyone talks about, oh, you got to be a prompt engineer and you got to do this and you got to do that. You can get better at stuff, but you don't need to. So when I talk about parlor tricks, so I'm at ChatGPT. I'm on the GPT 3.5 model. So this is the free model. So let me just do a couple of things really quickly. So I'm going to say, let's see, please explain quantum mechanics to me. That's a bad prompt because it's really generic, but there's a big giant explanation. Quantum mechanics is a branch of physics that describes the behavior of particles to the smallest scales, the heart of quantum mechanics. So then I can say like, explain it to me like I am 5. Sure, imagine you have a toy car that can be in 2 different colors at the same time. Let's say red and blue. In the world of quantum mechanics, things can exist in multiple states like that. Now we want to see what color. Okay, so that's cars. But I'm going to say, but I like stuffed animals. And I also just did a big typo there. It doesn't care about typos. Sure, stuffed animals are wonderful companions. Quantum mechanics is a bit different from stuffed animals, but it can still explain it. I can still explain it in a fun way. Imagine you have a magical stuffed animal. That special stuffed animal can do amazing things. It can be in more than one place at the same time, right? So just automatically does that. Now I can say, explain it to me in an M&M wrap. And now it understands verses and choruses and rhyming. Yo, listen up, kid. I'm going to drop some knowledge real quick about a thing called quantum mechanics. It's slick. It's crazy theory about tiny things in the world, atoms, particles, where the mysteries unfurl. Quantum mechanics, it's a mind-bending ride. Particles act strange. They're on a wild side, right? So bang, it does that. Let's see. Now I can say, make me a table comparing quantum mechanics and the theory of gravity. I don't even know if it's a theory. I think it is. Boom. There's a table comparing, let's see, quantum mechanics, theory of gravity. Yeah. Key concepts, mass, space-time, curvature, right? So it gets all this shit right. It is incredibly capable. So these are what I call parlor tricks. Here's another one. Write me a clone of Flappy Birds in C# that I can run in Unity. Boom, sure, here you go. There's your code. So I don't know about you. If you've never seen ChatGPT before and you're seeing it do that code, like the thing about code is that code can run or not. Like I can go to Unity, pop that in, and it either runs or it doesn't. And then when it doesn't, I can tell ChatGPT, hey, it didn't run. Here's the error it gave me, and it'll fix the error. It can debug its own code if you partner with it well. So the answer to the question of, is it good for beginners? Just start with stuff like that. Just start throwing shit at it. Make me a meal plan where I want to eat a diet of primarily ostrich and aardvark, and make me a meal plan for the week, and it will. And then, I don't know if it'll tell you where to get, ostrich and aardvark meat, but it's possible. So start there, and then once you sort of get that, oh, this is not a Google search, this is not something I've experienced before, then you can start to go, well, wait a minute. Why don't I take a look at the things I know? Like, I know copywriting and I know marketing and I know product and I know, entrepreneurship. So I can ask it to do certain things, and I know how hard that is to do for me personally. And so it can get me to 80% of a first draft of anything I want to write in about 5 minutes. That would have historically taken me 2 days or never, because I have ADHD. And if it's not fucking, burning in my soul to do it, I won't do it. I'll find, 38 ways to not do it. That resistance is gone now. So just start playing. Just get curious. That's the whole purpose of this channel, is just inspire people to get curious enough to go play with that thing long enough to go, holy shit, it can do that? Really? But it's bad, right? It's not as good as human, right? Oh, really? Could this take my job? AI won't take your job, but someone using AI will. That's coming. That's happening right now. Why this channel exists. Disrupt yourself. Like, face the existential angst. Like, I've had to do this with Storyvine with my company. One of the core value propositions of my technology is that it automates video editing, right? You answer some questions in an app, those clips go up to the cloud. 5 minutes later, you got a fully edited video. Now, we're not using AI to do that, but for the past decade, when we demo that to people, they lose their minds. They're like, holy shit, it could do that? That's magic. A year from now, that's not magic anymore. Every single piece of video software out there is going to automatically do fucking everything. So, like, I have to come face to face with the thing that I've spent a decade building. There's a big piece of it that the value of it drops to zero. What do? Do I throw out what I've built for a decade and start over? That's a possibility. Do I find other things that we do that the value goes up and focus more on those? That's where I'm leaning right now. But do I actually know? No. Is it scarier than fuck? Yes. Am I dismissing it because the technology is stupid and janky and lies right now? No. Because I know that this AI stuff right now is as bad as it's ever going to be. And it's fucking profound right now. And it's as bad as it's ever going to be. It's going to get, like, wild how powerful this shit gets. So, anyway, that's who I am. That's what this channel's about. I just felt like I was up on a soapbox there, like, getting a union going. let's get going. Let's start a movement. But listen, I'm fired up enough about this that I'm spending 2 to 3 hours a night doing these lives in lieu of sim racing, which I love. Like, my sim racing rig is right over there. And so for the past month or so, I have not been sim racing. So my reflexes are slowing down and my ass gets numb. Like, basically, I do these lives until my ass gets numb. All right. I just used Bing to translate Barack Obama's autobiography into French. Oh, that's cool. Nice. Yeah, this stuff's good at languages. It knows them all. It's seen them all. Thank you, Hairgrowth, for the rose. I appreciate that. Professor Sonia, thanks so much, Kyle. You're welcome. There's a report that I subscribe to that is dedicated to teaching new AI tools in 5 minutes every day. You could do it in 5 minutes. I choose to do it in 2 to 3 hours because I'm a genius. Huh? It's like a steel trap. All right. It's called AI Tool Report. Oh, I've seen that. Yep. I'm sure you can Google it and find it. Yeah, I've heard of the AI Tool Report. It looks pretty good. Have you seen Andre Ansley's Midjourney AI prompts? They're comprehensive as fuck. No, I haven't. Andre Ansley's. I'll check them out. The thing that I would say about this, so while you can find like a good way to get started with things like Midjourney and Stable Diffusion and even ChatGPT to a degree, like I've got this prompts.chat thing, which is it's got a list of prompts in it, but it's a very particular kind of prompt. If you're starting out, I wouldn't lean too heavily for too long on just other people writing your prompts. It's fun for a while, right? Because you can just take someone else's prompt, dump it in there, and get really remarkable images or really remarkable, whatever, a table or a marketing plan or whatever it might be. I would encourage you to learn how this stuff works and how to. The better you can get at bending these tools to your will, the better it's going to serve you. We're not going to need to be expert prompters for long, but it's kind of similar to why do they teach mathematics even though calculators exist, right? Because understanding the concepts of mathematics is actually important so that you know how to use the tool. I think it's similar with this right now. We're so early in this, and these tools are evolving so quickly that if you take the time in the next 6 months to just really start to get your head around what works, what doesn't, sort of figure out for yourself, how is this different than a Google search? Is this really like a co-pilot or an intern or an assistant or a creative collaborator? Or is it more like, that's my bitch and I, like I bend it to my will, like whatever it is that works for you, like figure out how it is you work with these tools. Will really serve you as these tools get more sophisticated, because AI competency is gonna be a required skill, I think, in fairly short order, or people are gonna be left behind and it's gonna suck. I mean, listen, it's gonna suck even for the people that aren't left behind because everything's changing. Like if I were a data analyst right now, if you haven't. So I don't have access to it, so I can't show it to you, and I don't really know how it works. But if you want to get your mind blown, so data analysts, right? Like the super math geeks, the multi-maths that go to that have 17 degrees and do data analytics. Go look at a tool called Code Interpreter for ChatGPT. Just go to YouTube, search for Code Interpreter ChatGPT. Watch 2 of those videos. And watch the data analysts who are like, oh, let me play around with this tool. Holy fuck. Every one of those videos is like someone like, well, let me play around with this tool. I've got 17 PhDs and oh my God. They do that. Those are a series of videos of Kevin McCallister moments. So radical change is coming. So even if your job is safe, what your job is and what you're expected to do in your job is likely going to change. I'm trying to convert pictures of my jewelry in a mannequin in a model. Is it possible? So, Gabriella, one of the really frustrating things about the image tools right now is that predictability is not their strong suit. So in let's see, you're trying to convert pictures of your jewelry in a mannequin in a model. I think I know what you're talking about, but I'm not quite sure. Are you that Gabriella Tabino? Yeah, let's pull you up on stage here. I think you should be able to talk shortly here. Prove that you're not a deep fake. All right, Alan Jones, I'm not a deep fake, man. Gabriella, are you here yet? It looks like one new message. It doesn't look like so anyway, Gabriella, so what I would say is this. If you have access to Photoshop, you can probably do what you're talking about with generative fill, where you can highlight the piece of jewelry and then invert the selection, and then basically describe the model or the setting or wherever you want to put it, and it'll retain the jewelry and replace all the other shit. That's probably the best way to do it. There's ways you can do it in Midjourney and Stable Diffusion, but they're technical fucking nightmares. So if you've got access to Photoshop's beta that's got generative fill, that can probably do it. In fact, I'll go show you something. I was talking to someone a couple of days ago, and their wife is a jewelry designer. And I lost my chat history here. That's weird. Is this still working? Can you tap the screen, hit hearts if you can still hear me? Because it looks like I lost a bunch of my history here. Am I still working? Is this thing on? Hey, Marge, is the TikTok on? I can't see. Is the TikTok on, Marge? Marge, I'm trying to talk to the people on the TikTok. Is it there? Anyone? Marge? All right, thank you for the hearts. So I guess I'm still here. Again, one of my great joys in life is doing stupid shit like that, knowing that people are like flicking through TikTok going, who's this weird person? All right, I'm gonna show you something here. I'm gonna do an experiment live, so I will likely humiliate myself here with my dramatic incompetence, but let's go play with something. So since I couldn't talk to, I think it was Gabriella, my wife's name is Gabrielle. Okay, I'm gonna go find a piece of jewelry that I made in Midjourney. Sorry, oh, that's gonna make you seasick. I'll put this off to this. Hang on, let me go find this thing I made. Did I do it in here? I think I did. This is going to be so cool. It's going to be so worth it. You're going to be like, oh man, that's so bitchin'. That's so cool. Kyle, you're the best, man. Except for like when you suck, which is like actually right now, you suck pretty bad because like, am I really just spending my night watching you scroll through Discord? Yeah, man. There it is. Okay, look, see? I made jewelry. See? Jewelry. All right. So let's grab this one. Open in browser. Copy image. Okay, so now I'm going to Photoshop beta. That was a thing I did last night. That was pretty funny. Let me cancel that. Okay, so there's our little image. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to probably do this very poorly, but let me try. I'm going to select the pendant here. I'm going to do it pretty rough because this seems to be pretty forgiving, even if you do rough things. So I'm selecting the pendant. What'd you do tonight? I watched some old guy try to select something in Photoshop. How long did that last? I don't know, 4.5 hours, something like that. Why would you do that to yourself? I don't know. I loathe myself. Shame is my love language. All right. Here what come to save the day. Have you ever been like right here where you're just about to finish the selection and like you slip on the keyboard and let go of shit and you lose the selection? Okay, so I've got the pendant selected, not very well, and I'm going to say select inverse. Okay, so now what I've got selected is everything but the pendant, and I didn't even bother with the inside of it here. So I'm going to say, so the way generative fill works in Photoshop. So I'm in Photoshop. I've got my background selected. There's this new contextual box down here, and it says generative fill. So I click generative fill, and now there's a box there that I can type something in. So what I'm going to say is, let's see, neck of a fashion model wearing a, I don't know, a V-neck dress in indigo silk. We're going to generate it. This could be an abject disaster, but let's see what it does. The generative fill session expired. Oh no, am I going to lose my, wait, I might lose my selection here. What do I have to do? Wait, generate. Oh, there it goes. No, wait. Please restart Photoshop. Okay, so let me save this first. Hang on. Let me save my selection. Jeez. Save selection. Fine, Untitled 3. Let me save this. We're going to call this pendant. What'd you do tonight? I watched some old guy try to restart Photoshop for about an hour. How'd that work out for you? I don't want to talk about it. Marge, can you restart the TikTok? Marge. That dude is funny. This was a Navy dude from like the 40s. I gave him Lakers basketball shorts. That was a generative fill experiment. All right, so let's restart Photoshop. Beta. Strawberry letter. All right, and then we'll restart that. We're going to load our selection that we saved called Untitled. Wait, channel. Is that it? No. I thought I saved it. Did I not save it? Oh my God, really? Load selection. Alpha 1? There it is. Okay. All right, we're back. So I've got my, oh, and I've still got people here. Why have you people not left? Just watching an old guy try to use Photoshop. This is awesome. Hope you're enjoying this. I'll introduce myself to the new folks in a second. Okay, so for Gabriella, we're trying to take some jewelry and we're trying to replace this background of plants with a background of like this necklace hanging on someone's neck. So I'm going to click generative fill. I'm going to type neck of a model wearing a indigo. Come on, English language. Indigo silk dress at an evening on the town. That's a horrible prompt, but let's go for it. Okay, so now I'm going to say generate. So in theory, we're going to get this pendant on someone's skin. Oh, I didn't say V-neck, but whatever, it should figure it out. So that's sort of it. Now, because my selection was bad, it looks like it put the right selection there, but it still screwed it up there. But now it'll give us 3 different versions of this. I mean, listen, that's not bad either. So for doing a really shitty masking and just pulling something, I mean, that at least starts to show you that there's a possibility here. There's another fun thing that we can do here. So let me deselect anything there. And now I'm going to expand. Here I come to save the day. So I'm going to now expand. Let's meet her. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to select the main image. Wait, which layer do I need to do this on? Hang on. Sometimes Sometimes I don't know what I'm doing, like all the time. All right, I'm going to select the main image. Now I'm going to invert that selection. And now I'm just going to say, generative fill. I'm not going to type in anything. Let's just see what it does. It should give us a face and the rest of her body. It should, but will it? In a world. Oh, that's awesome. Oh, that is terrific. All right. So I think we're gonna have to generate again. All right. So let's say we're gonna add a prompt. So let's say stunning brunette model. Let's see. Bokeh blur background. Let's see what it does. Oh, here's someone who does jewelry. Oh, they left. Let's see what this does. That's still weird. That's very weird. All right. So here's part of the lesson here is that Photoshop and Adobe's models are not as good as Midjourney. I've definitely gotten better examples than that. But anyway, that at least gives us, the beginnings of how you might approach a project like that. So yes, it is possible. I didn't know it would be. Let me flip my camera around here. And if that was horrifically boring for most of you, I'm sorry. But if that was valuable, cool. If you're new here, my name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. These URLs behind my head, why I have those there? If you haven't tried ChatGPT, by the way, thank you for the likes. I assume that means good on the generative fill lesson with the jewelry thingy. By the way, that jewelry was just generated in Midjourney. It was my first attempt at I just did like, I don't know, silver jewelry, and then I put it in the Poe Midjourney prompt writer. It came up with a couple of jewelry artists, and it just, like, this stuff is mind-blowing. Why are these URLs here? So if you haven't used ChatGPT, that top URL, that's the official ChatGPT website. Go there. You owe it to yourself to play with this thing long enough to have this moment. It's going to suck for a while. You're going to think it's just like, this is just like Google, but stupid. Go through that feeling. Work through it. Purge the naughty feelings. And start playing with it. And if you really want to sort of geek out on how you talk to that thing, go to this URL here, prompts.chat. This will teach you what prompting is. It gives you, there's like a free ebook there on prompting. It does a pretty good job of describing that, but then the bulk of the document are prompts to tell ChatGPT to act like a certain persona. So act like an accountant, act like a screenwriter, act like a counselor, act like a translator, whatever. And you'll very, very quickly start to get your head around how deep these waters are and how profound these tools are. And just start playing with it until your brain kind of hemorrhages down one side of your face. And then you're like, I think this is pretty significant. Have that moment. It's a pretty magical moment. Any stocks or ETFs for AI companies? I think there are some ETFs out there. It probably wouldn't be a bad idea just to grab an ETF that's got like NVIDIA and Microsoft. Let them figure out the stuff. Like the companies that I think are interesting right now are Anthropic and OpenAI, which I don't think you can invest in. Microsoft, which you can, but they're Microsoft. But I think they're kind of kicking ass right now. NVIDIA just hit $1 trillion market cap. AMD claims they're going to be coming after NVIDIA from a chip manufacturing standpoint. I don't know that anyone else can actually claim that they can do that. AMD could be interesting, but I'm not an investor. I have a degree in acting, so don't listen to me for that shit. All right. Great job. You've gone live for like 90 minutes. I'm pretty sure I've been live for longer than that. Last night you used travel family of 4 to Ibiza. Well, I know I'm not all that creative. If you watch me 2 nights in a row, I use a lot of the same shit because I'm just trying to I'm trying to figure out how TikTok fucking works most of the time. How do I make those creepy AI generated videos of celebrities eating strange things? Okay, go to Runway ML, search for Runway ML, and then go to you're gonna have to go to their Discord because I don't think I can't run it here. I don't think it's live in their app yet. They have an app. You can do Gen 1 in the app, which is Gen 1 is you upload a video clip and then a prompt like make it claymation, and it will make your clip into claymation. That's Gen 1. Gen 2 is text to video. So go to Runway ML, just search for Runway ML video AI or something like that. You'll find the site. Go to their Discord, and then in the Gen 2 channels, you basically type at Gen 2, and then you type in you know what? Let's go play. Let's go play. We're going live. We're going live to the Discord. You want to see where the cool gamers hang out? Oh, yeah, they're on Discord. I thought they were on Steam. Shut up. Get out of my house. Get out. Okay, so we're in Discord. Here's Runway ML. So there are, once you log in, there are like areas that you can generate 1, 2, and 3. This is the Gen 2 research beta. I don't know if there's a wait list for it. There might be, but I'm pretty sure they released this to everyone. So basically you come to the Gen 2 area, and then you say you want creepy celebrity doing something with food. Okay, let's say Pete Davidson eating a hot dog on a roller coaster. Oh no, wait, sorry. That's not how you do that. It's almost like I've never done this before. Hang on. Delete message, delete. So you go at Gen 2, and then you put in your prompt. No, wait, why? Why is it not letting me? Does it not like Pete Davidson? Let's see, Kelly Clarkson. Why is it not letting me go? Hold. At Gen 2, Pete Davidson eating a hot dog at the beach. All right, there it goes. I guess it was because I tried to submit it without a prompt actually being there. So now it's generating. So what it does is notice how it's generated a sub thread to that channel. So that's my video. And then here's the actual things that it put in there. It put in my prompt. It put in the CFG scale, which is basically the creativity scale. It's got some other shit. Upscaling false, green screen false. Okay, there's Pete Davidson at the beach. Now I said I wanted him eating a hot dog. Do we have a hot dog here? No, but that's Pete Davidson like. There you go. That's creepy Pete Davidson. All right, so that's Gen 2. Now listen, the other reason that you play with this AI stuff is just to crack yourself up. That's pretty fucking funny. Welcome everybody. If you're new here, my name's Kyle Shannon. This is the AI Learning Lab. Pop any questions you have down below. I'm very far behind on them. I've been doing this for 2 hours. My voice is going. I'm a little moist. My hair's still holding up all right. That's pretty good. The eyebrows look like they need Need a trim. I'm looking like some sort of bad professor with the eyebrows that no one mentions and he never trims. Oh, if you can avoid aging, I would strongly encourage that. It'd be better to learn the prompting yourself rather than rely on a plugin. I totally agree with that. Learn this shit. Just start playing with it. Just get curious. Get curious. Get curious. I would say if they're here are the couple of skills that I think are the most important moving forward. Get curious. If you're in a job where you're not using your brain, if you're not doing critical thinking, start doing that. Start practicing critical thinking, because the people that can use these tools and very quickly assess that's good, that's not good. Like people who can curate and think more like a conductor than a violinist, right? Where, the conductor is looking at the whole picture. That's going to be a really important skill. So get curious, start exploring. Use prompt perfect, please. Okay, happy to do that. We're going to flip our camera. We're going to turn off our thing. Oh, there's Pete Davidson popping through there. That's pretty funny. All right, we're going to go to ChatGPT. You can make money on ChatGPT. Okay, by the way, any videos that say that, run for the hills from those things. A, their voices are annoying, and B, that's all bullshit. Okay, use prompt perfect. So I'm at GPT-4. I'm going to go to the plugins thing. I'm going to go do this pull down menu. I'm going to turn off all these travel ones. I'm going to turn on prompt perfect. And so now I just have one plugin enabled. It's called prompt perfect. And what it does is it actually rewrites shitty prompts for you. So if I type the word perfect as the first word in a prompt and then type my shitty prompt, like, let's see, I have a pizza shop and no one is coming. Make me a plan to save my restaurant. Horrible prompt, not enough context, completely generic. So it fires off the plugin, and then behind the scenes, it takes my crappy prompt and it rewrites it. And it says, as the owner of a pizza shop, I am facing the challenge of lack of customer traffic. I am seeking expert guidance in developing a comprehensive plan to revitalize my business and ensure its survival. Can you provide me with a detailed strategy that will effectively attract and retain customers while also optimizing the operations and profitability? That's really fucking good, right? And then it says, absolutely, I'd be happy to help you do that. Evaluate your menu, improve the quality, customer service, ensure that your staff is trained to provide excellent customer service, marketing and promotion, invest in online presence, make sure you have a strong one, delivery and takeout options, community engagement, loyalty program, ambiance and cleanliness, regularly seek feedback. So let's say community engagement. So I'm going to say, I like community engagement. Please give me 10 low cost, high impact ideas. So it kind of knows in the context of what it's doing. So here are 10: host a local event, pizza making class, tasting event, sponsor local teams, partner with local businesses, charity fundraisers, right? So there you go. With relatively little input and a tool like Prompt Perfect, which you can then learn. I mean, it's actually interesting when you watch something like Prompt Perfect rewrite your prompt like that one just did. Like that taught me some things about how to think about how I would phrase something like this in the future, right? So like I said, this stuff is pretty good. Now, does it give you shitty answers a lot? Yep. Does it lie a lot? Yep. Does it fail you on a regular basis? Yep. Is it the most powerful tool ever put in the hands of mankind? Yep. All right. How to get started coding Python using AI. Go here and tell it to start coding in Python. Tell it the application you want to write. Have it write it for you. And then go start playing with the code. How about Poe? So Poe.com. Here, I'll show you Poe. And I'll do a little Python thing here as well. Here we come to save the day. So just on ChatGPT, so just using GPT 3.5, I can say, write a Python application that gives a weather forecast. Bang. With documentation. There's your so not only can it help you code, you can pair program with it basically. It explains what it's doing. And if you don't understand something, you just tell it you don't understand it. So how I would learn Python is I would learn how to pair program with ChatGPT. So start with chat.openai.com. And then if you want to really take it seriously, start pair programming using GitHub's Copilot, which is specifically optimized for writing code. All right, Poe. So Poe is just like ChatGPT, except there's a bunch more options. So if you look at the screen here, it's just the same. You type in, we'll see if Sage does coding. Write a Python app that fetches the weather forecast. Sure, here's a Python app, so it does that too. So all of these things are decent at coding. Okay, so that's what it is. But you've now got a lot of different options here. The next three under Sage. So Sage is Poe's large language model, and Poe is Quora, right? So the Quora website, that's who's behind it. Sage is theirs. You got GPT-4, Claude Plus, and Claude Instant 100K. Those you have to pay for. I pay for those because Claude Instant 100K, that's a chatbot that's got a 75,000 word context window. So if you want to copy and paste large documents, like a complete novel, for example, and have it help you edit your novel, you can paste the entire novel in there and just have it rewrite sections for you or come up with outlines or whatever. Claude Instant and ChatGPT are free. And then the other thing that Poe has is it's got bots. So like I created one here called I Am Shakespeare. It only responds in iambic pentameter. Here's two that rewrite your Midjourney prompts for you. Here's an HTML machine. You can explore the bots, and there's like all these different categories, music bots and mind bots and learning bots and travel bots and history bots and game bots and funny bots and new bots, whatever. And they also have, why is this not, they also have creative right here. So you can make your own bot. So you can upload the picture here, which I would make in Midjourney. You name it, give it a description, write a prompt. So act like William Shakespeare and only respond in iambic pentameter and blah, 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 blah. And then what's the intro? When the bot fires up, what's it going to say? And then you launch it and you can put that out to the world. So that's Poe. That's why I have that one there, because there's just some shit there worth playing around with. Why is he singing like a 90s TV show? I don't know. That's what he does. I got my Dr. Pepper. You mentioned last week something about going and watch a video about Codex and ChatGPT. What was it? Code Interpreter. Here, let's go watch it. Let's go watch one together. Code Interpreter. This is one I really want access to, and I don't have access to it. I'm cranky about it. I'm cranky, 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 cranky. So I'm going to search. By the way, if you have not seen the music video called Hi Ren, do yourself a favor. It's one of the most brilliant pieces of music and performance I've seen in decades. All right, but we're not here for that. What did I say? Code interpreter, ChatGPT. So let's see. That guy's voice bugs the shit out of me. I don't know.
The internet this past week has been going wild. We've always been a wild place. Okay, true. It is always wild. But especially this week with the recent announcement of ChatGPT or OpenAI's new plugin that's released, which is Code Interpreter. Now, this is still in closed alpha form, so it's not available to everyone just yet. You do need to sign up to have access to it. But this plugin specifically is a game changer for not only people who work in tech, but this user on Twitter here that uploaded a CSV file of every lighthouse location in the US. It said to ChatGPT Code Interpreter, create a GIF of a map of the lighthouse locations where the map is very dark, but each lighthouse twinkles. A couple seconds later, this appeared, where it's a full-blown GIF and it's accurate as to where lighthouses are located in the US. Now you might be thinking, Tip, this seems so small. Who cares? It created a GIF. But when you think of this at a larger scale, how it is able to really take data and information and output it in a way that is visualized, humans can understand. This Twitter user actually input to analyze 300 hours of Spotify favorites playlist with ChatGPT Code Interpreter. GPT showed me how to export from the Spotify API, run multidimensional PCA and TSNE analysis, can't speak today, all these words, and summarize my taste for me. It's wild. Look at these graphs.
Wild. It's like, that's like, I feel like my biggest challenge these days is come up with new ways to go, that's wild, that's amazing, that's game changing. It's just absolutely insane. Anyway, it does full on. What you basically do with Code Interpreter is in your little chat window, there's now an upload button. And so you upload a data set. So you upload like a spreadsheet, a CSV file of some pile of data. It essentially instantly reads it and understands it, and then you can just start querying against it. Tell me what's interesting about that data, and it'll generate a report with graphs and charts and trends. Compare this trend to that trend and put it in this kind of scatter chart. It'll do that. So that's coming. That's another reason to pay the $20 to ChatGPT, is that you get early access to stuff like that. Code Interpreter. Why use AI instead of Google search? It is just a fundamentally different thing. And here's the deal. Think about it like this. How Google makes their money is getting you to click 40 times. It's not giving you what you need. How they make their money is you search for something and they give you 40 links. And the top 20 of them are paid for, right? And so that's why, like, it's gotten to the point that Google searches just aren't as valuable as they used to be, because even though it's relevant, a lot of that relevance is SEO-packed websites that are just bullshit websites to drive traffic to make people money based on clicks. That's how they make their money. ChatGPT and other things like it, the large language models, you put in a query and it returns an answer. And the answer can be quite sophisticated, right? It can be come up with a meal plan for this specific kind of diet for this many people. 2 of them have these food allergies, and 1 of them doesn't like dairy. And it will write you a meal plan like that. How long would that take you to do in Google? You'd have to go find a bunch of sites, that have nutrition stuff, you'd have to figure out which of the recipes have your stuff and have the this and have the that. And maybe you find a site that makes meal plans, but you go to make your meal plan, you input all your shit, and then when you go to make meal plan, it's like, sign up for $19.95 a month. How many times have we done that? You go to a site, you think you found something, and it's free up until the point you actually get your answer. And then you have to replace your computer because you just smashed it into a brick wall. I've done that. So, you know, so that's a difference. It codes. So here's the thing. Google is about sort of get in, get out. It's very transactional. Here's my prompt. Give me the shit I want, and I'm out of here. ChatGPT is much more like, hey man, you want to hang out and collaborate on something? You got a whisper of an idea? I'll turn it into a full-blown plan for you in 5 minutes. You want that? Sure. ChatGPT is like smoking crack. Google searches ain't. I'd rather pay $20 than use the Microsoft shit for free. I agree with that. You're so right. It makes you nicer. It does. I feel like ChatGPT is training me daily how to be a better human being. Gen Xer, I'm getting back into the workforce, paying attention. I'm telling you, I think we are in the revenge. There's kind of two revenges being born right now. One is revenge of the Gen Xers, because there's something about our generation. We still have enough energy left to do shit, right? But we also have enough life experience to be able to look at what these tools create and curate it really quickly, right? We can take our life experience and go, that's good, that's not good, right? So revenge of the Gen Xers, and I also think this is revenge of the liberal arts majors, right? All the specialists, all the specialty tactical execution stuff in the world is going to be the stuff that's the most disrupted. The people that are going to really excel in this new AI generative world are the ones that can take a broad view, a horizontal view across things. So, okay, I got to come up with a marketing plan. All right, let me go to ChatGPT. Oh, it gave me a bunch of shit. Oh, right. I got to go make copy. Okay, I got to go do that. I got to make images. Oh, wait, there's a strategy. How does it tie to the thing? So people that can kind of, assimilate all the different piece parts quickly, those with a broad educational view or broad life experience view, I think they're going to have superpowers. They're going to have superpowers. The good guys don't seem to put the time into it that the bad guys do. I disagree with that. That's why this channel exists. This is a channel for good guys. I don't want you to be assholes in here. If you're going to be a troll, you got to be creative. And I want you doing cool shit with this technology. I deeply believe small things that provide a positive impact on the world using AI right now are going to have a disproportionately positive impact on the trajectory of AI. I think it's in our hands to drive this in a positive direction. I think if we sit back and go, well, it's the hackers are going to get to it first. It's not perfect right now. It hallucinates. I think all those people, I think it's very bad. Don't do that. Don't be that guy. You're not that guy. What's the best app for antivirus, in your opinion? I don't have a fucking clue. I'm on a Mac, so for the most part, we don't have to deal with that shit. You're going to be you are going to be a pioneer of AI, just like the internet had pioneers. I was a pioneer of the internet. I started one of the first digital agencies in the mid 90s. I would like to be, so we're not a pioneer of AI. We're anyone starting now with this generative AI stuff it's going to be similar to the mid 90s, where I wasn't a pioneer of the internet. I was a pioneer of the World Wide Web. The internet had been around for decades. The World Wide Web said, here's a tool that real people can use this. Same with ChatGPT. Here, real people can use this. So this is the inflection point that we're at. Before it was all geeks and researchers. After it's like the rest of us. That's the stuff I'm interested in. I know you were here seeing internet coming in 1998. I actually started agency.com in 1994. I was there super early. What does that tell you? I don't know what that's in reference to, but probably a lot. What specific things happened to give you that Home Alone moment? I had written a card game that was about alien disclosure, and I kind of gave up on it because I realized in order for it to be a good card game, I actually had to research it. So I had like 40 ideas for cards, but I needed like a lot. And then I needed research, so just my ADD took over, and I just abandoned the project. So I took that spreadsheet, I popped it into ChatGPT, and I said, what are all the categories of cards? Out they came. I said, give me 10 cards for each category. Out it came. Go research them and give me a description for each thing. Out it came. Then I, like within, I don't know, 30, 45 minutes, I went from having 45 shittily written, unresearched cards to 300 well-categorized, fully researched cards. And then I even put in a cell in each row of the spreadsheet that did a call to DALL-E and generated an image for the card based on the description within like 30 minutes. That was one. Writing the Python application was another. I created a tool for my company where for our video templates, we create these things called video guides, which are a set of prompting questions that guide an end user through telling a story. How we write them is this really specific kind of way that sort of works in our app, and we just have figured out how to do it. It's really complicated to explain. So I basically made a tool that I just gave it examples of prompts that we've written before, and we fill out a Google form, and it automatically generates a set of prompts for us. While we're live in a client meeting, we don't show them that it's generating it. We're having a conversation with them. We're filling out a Google form. On our Slack channel, it automatically generates a set of prompts, 3, 5, and 7. And then we just kind of dynamically pull from those sets and then say, okay, clients, based on the conversation we've been having, here's a starter set of questions. And then we discuss the questions with them. It saves us 2 to 3 hour-long creative meetings that normally like add 2 to 3 weeks to a project, just because of scheduling shit. So that's one that just blows me away. I don't know. There's just shit daily. Like all the stuff I do in Midjourney, like when it generates like something fucking magical and like that zoom out feature that just sort of fills in the details, you're like, holy shit. I mean, at least once a day, I'm like, really? It's been like that for 6 months. It doesn't stop. All right. Oh man, I'm really behind on questions here. I'm just gonna sort of scroll down. I'm getting crispy, so I'm gonna go because it's been like 2.5 hours. so let me answer a few more questions. What's this? Why is ChatGPT being torn apart by hackers revealing user queries? Because hackers are gonna hack. They like ChatGPT is a shitty piece of software that has bad security, and hackers gonna hack. So I don't know. Why do people steal when people leave cash on the sidewalk? I don't know, because some people are assholes. I don't know. I love ChatGPT. I use it, if not more than Google. I would say I am right now on a percentage basis, 80-20 ChatGPT to Google, and it's Google's shrinking. It's probably going to be 90-10, and when it gets faster at doing the internet stuff and better at doing the internet stuff, I don't think I'll go back to Google. And at this point I kind of have an allegiance to OpenAI because Google Bard is so bad right now. Like I don't know how they're going to catch up. Prove that you're not a deep fake. Did that already. How long have you been interested in deep learning for? About a year. I mean, listen, I've been hearing about AI and machine learning for fucking decade, and then like, you know, I'd see like a post on Twitter like, oh, go use TensorFlow to play with machine learning. I'm like, oh, cool. And I'd go look at what TensorFlow was, and it's like you literally have to have a PhD to understand the instructions for like how to do whatever the fuck you do in TensorFlow and understand all the categories. So the thing that kind of got me like really engaged was this NFT project called Pixel Mind, which you basically filled in these Mad Libs kind of prompts, and it would generate images, and then you could turn those into NFTs. And then I met the founder of that. He was really interesting, and he was talking about stable diffusion and how powerful it was, and that was what was sitting underneath that. So then I taught myself stable diffusion, and then I taught myself Dream Booth. But stable diffusion, just to put it in context, like I failed 9 times in a row to get stable diffusion up and running because I had to run it on Google Colab, and there's these things called notebooks, and they have code in them, and they're sort of easy, but then you run them and you follow the instructions, and then it just gives you an error. And unless you know what the fuck you're doing, like you're stuck, right? And so I failed 9 times until I got it working. And then I got it working, and then I learned a bit more, and then I got Dream Booth working, and I probably failed at that 5 times until I got it working. And then this image right here is generated by Stable Diffusion and Dream Booth. And I created a project called Kyle Shannon Dreams. So if you go to Instagram at Kyle Shannon Dreams or TikTok at Kyle Shannon Dreams, that's the art project that I did. So I was kind of in the middle of doing this art project with these funky self-portraits, and I was writing stories about them and acting behind the stories, and then ChatGPT came out, and I was like, holy fuck. Because this, like, being able to generate images like that in a few minutes is mind-blowing enough. But when ChatGPT came out and I wrote a Python application in 90 minutes, like a fairly sophisticated one, it just became clear to me that the world is fundamentally different now. We're not going back. This is not a hype cycle. I mean, it's way overhyped, but everything's going to change. Like, I know that. I know it deep in my soul. I don't have any question about it. And that's the shit that excites me. Like, that's what excited me in 1994 with the World Wide Web. And I feel like I'm lucky to be on the planet right now. I feel like we all are. This is an amazing time to be alive. Arthur C. Clarke, any significantly enough advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. That's what this is. That's what that is. Technologically, it's a prediction engine. It's like an autocomplete for your sentence in Microsoft Word, but it's like on steroids. So technically, it's relatively straightforward what it does, but what it actually does is like fucking magic. So are the image things, so are the music things, so are the video things, everything. AI won't take your job, but someone using AI will. That's exactly right. That's from Paul Reitzer from the Marketing AI Institute. AI is great. Have you tried some KFG? Tried a lot of KFC. Damn, dude, I'm hearing you. Can I use AI to change a sick-looking person come alive again? I like to feed it. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, you can do all sorts of stuff. You can also, like, I know a good friend of mine named Richard Boyd. He took, his father passed away, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago now. And he took all of his father's writings, and this was before GPT-3 came out. So I think he was using GPT-2. He took all of his father's writings and he made a virtual, like a virtual version of his father where you could ask him what he was reading and have conversations with him. So yeah, my face is numb. My butt's numb. I gotta go. All right. Have I tried Google's Bard power tools? Yeah, they suck right now. What are we chatting about? AI. All right. I'm going to do 2 more questions, 2 more, and then I'm going to go. Let's see. Pick a good one. When do you go live? I've been trying to go live once a night. So after work, I generally come in here. How good is the 100,000 thing to code? I don't know. I haven't coded with it yet or tried. I would go, well, you have to pay for it. So if you need to do long coding projects, it's the 100,000 tokens is a lot. Bing is so crowded, it gives me a headache. I agree with that. Google's page has nothing but a search box. Just go to, that's why this URL's here. Go there. This is the one. Just go there. Just go there. If you can't afford the $20 a month, just use the free one, because the free that is better than almost everything out there. And if you pay the $20, the GPT-4 that's here with all the goodies and doodads, but the GPT-4 itself is just fucking phenomenal. Gen X, we love competition, but too old for basketball. Yeah, and too short and too slow and too uncoordinated. All right, one more question. This ain't live, dog. Listen, Peed. This is live, dog. Dog, man. This is live, you big Peed. Peter. Peed. Did you peed in the corner, Peed? Sounds complicated. All right. Let's see. How do you make an image based on a description? Go to bing.com/create, type in a description and hit return, and an image will come out. Now, it will suck because that's DALL-E 2. If you want to geek out, go to Midjourney or Leonardo or Adobe Firefly. But if you just want to make an image based on a description, bing.com/create. That will get you there. Listen, everyone, I appreciate you hanging out with me all night. There was a lot of you here last night. There's a lot of you here tonight. I really appreciate it. Feel free to follow me if you want to know when I do these. And thank you very much for all your time. And I hope this helped. And this is Kyle Shannon saying, peace out. Bye-bye, Peed. This is live, Peed. Not to be like a bitter bitch or anything, but yeah, this is live. I'm totally not ChatGPT, or am I?